you. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Conquerors League. I'm Raptor, joined by Freedom Potatoes. We're here for the moment you have all waited for. It's the grand finals. We're here. Oh, I'm so excited to get to cast this with you, man.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited as well. It's a long time in the making. We've gone from the round of 16 in playoffs. We're down to the final two now. Elysium, Yggdrasil going up against XSV, Rush. And it's been quite the journey for both of these teams. I was just looking at the bracket, and Elysium has had to fight their way actually through already two other teams from Group A, and now XSV Rush, a third team from Group A. So they are really running the Group A gauntlet right now. Meanwhile, on the side of Excessive Rush, they've already taken out Elysium Solar. Now they've got Elysium Yggdrasil. So both of these teams got a little bit of a storyline going on in this finals.
Yeah, and what a day for it, too. With a brand new patch coming out, it's really going to, I think, push these teams to their limit in terms of their adaptability and their strength. We got some pretty big changes that came out today, right?
Yeah, I think one of the big ones I've seen everyone talking about is Nautilus back to the jungle. He can clear insanely fast now, like 3 minutes and 10 seconds full clear on a champion that also has, insane gank potential, even at like level 2. So he could play a heavy ganking style, but he could also full clear, power up, and then become a threat in those skirmishes around the early objectives. So that's one that I would maybe expect to see pop up here if the junglers are feeling comfortable on it.
I think we could see it too. Silas also getting a buff to his monster damage in the jungle. So two champions that have pretty strong potential when they are enabled for the jungle. Nautilus has been a long time. I want to say I was back in college my first time for my first degree when that was there, and that was back when before I graduated in 2016 is the last time I think I saw him in the jungle. So it's been a while. It has been a hot minute, and I would be very excited to see him. And I think it's helped even more. Trundle got a big nerf this patch too, so I think we might not see very much Trundle today, or at least a lot less priority. And then, of course, we got some changes to Rumble to make him more balanced on both sides and a little bit more reliable in his ticks. Some changes to Varus to move poke Varus more towards on-hit Varus, and a couple other champions that got some buffs and nerfs too. I don't think those ones will be as impactful, but I think still like that could be very warping going into this last day of play. And I know at least, when we were casting last week, we saw XSVR has a very, very deep pool. As we get underway into draft, we'll get to see if any of these get taken.
Yeah, it feels like XSV doesn't necessarily need to play as much for those meta junglers. The Jarvan, Trundle, Xin Zhao, all three of those I think were quite popular picks, and all of them got nerfs this patch. So, people who were relying on those staple junglers might feel the pain a little more than people who, like Queenie has been playing the Morgana and the Ivern and the things that are a little less conventional. But we're seeing a Vel'Koz out as the first ban. That's interesting. The Mel also has been having some interesting bugs, so I don't know if that's just a general respect ban towards the Mel or if they don't want to see the turbocharged Dragon Soul interaction. But speaking of dragons, Smolder has also been taken off the table. Both of these bot laners like that champion. It's a safe, reliable, scaling threat in a competitive setting.
Yeah, Smolder is just so safe. It's just so easy to do, but that is going to leave some of our newer options up on the table. The Nunu going to get banned as well. A very strong pick in the right hand. Zig's also going to be taken out of there. Another good, solid pickup. So we are into the first phase of picks. This time, XSVR's opponent does have their bans to get to use, so they actually got to use them, and we're going to have an Ivern to start this out.
Ivern, I expected this to be a contested pick. Both junglers like it to play it, and we saw Queenie getting good value out of it last week in game number 2 of their series against Elysium Solar. Even though they did eventually lose that game, that champion is just hard to play around. I think it can, jungle in many unconventional paths, and it's not super popular in solo queue, so it can catch people off guard, I think, in competitive play. But it's going to be a Zyra and a Jinx picked up. Now, that Zyra's probably in the jungle, kind of a fast-clearing poke threat that can sort of match what Ivern's doing. But I feel like Ivern's shields also get a lot of value into her because he can kind of shake off some of that chip damage with it.
It'd be funny to see both plant champions in the jungle for this game, but I do agree. I think that's what we're looking towards here. Could always be a Zyra support. Not something you see as much nowadays. Not since the days of the sneaky Lemonation bot lane, the Ashe Zyra, the good old days. But the Sivir coming out and the Jarvan, so it's still priority on that Jarvan despite the nerf. Still a very powerful playmaking jungler.
So it seems like, yeah, maybe that is going to be like a Zyra support or something then. Not what I expected. I mean, I guess there's always the off chance that also goes mid or something. That's also a kind of ancient pick, but or maybe the Jarvan's going somewhere weird. But the Sivir Braum bot lane for Elysium is also going to offer a lot of safety, a lot of late game scaling. Not as much range as the Jinx, but definitely has plenty of engage with that Sivir move speed. I do think they're going to need maybe a little more hard engage to get on top of that late game scaling threat that Angel's going to be playing. But yeah, it's bans thrown up towards the top side now. Some of these tankier champions and the bruisers taken off the table now.
Getting into the second half with all these top laners out of there. Mordekaiser as well got a big buff this patch, so I'm not surprised he's gone there. The Cassante, the pick from XSV over the top side, so saving more than likely that mid laner. I do not imagine this is Zyra mid. That's something you never see anymore. So Vlad gonna come out here from Elysium, Yggdrasil. As I wanted to talk about going into this series. As we saw last week, XSVR to get here had to beat Elysium's sister team. So they got even more of that training, that experience, that knowledge that they can utilize talking to their co-teammates from the other squad that they can use, that they can use in this draft. That's why we're seeing, I feel, this Ivern picked, why we're seeing this the pick around the Sivir, the focus on countering some of the stronger points from last week from XSVR. So it makes it, I feel, more difficult for the team, as we are going to get back through the pick and ban, it looks like. There we go. We popped it all back up, and the surprise is gone, but it looks like it's going to be a Malzahar for XSVR's mid laner.
Wow, that is a pick that Rutledge does like. I feel like there's not as many of those champions on Elysium side that's like, they're hyper mobile, and if you push R on them, they just die. So I do wonder how much value this pick is going to get. I mean, the Aurora has decent wave clear to match that. But I do think Malzahar is actually kind of a sleeper pick right now. He does a ton of damage. He can get a lot of Comet procs really quickly because I think his E and his W both accelerate the rate at which that spell comes out alongside the dot from his R. And I mean, yeah, what do you make of these comps overall?
So I personally don't like Elysium's comp. While I get kind of a little bit of the angle, I feel it's a little, I don't know. I feel like it has a difficult time figuring out its front to back. It feels like it's really loaded on the front. And then, I guess you've got Sivir in the back, but everyone, I don't know. It just feels like it doesn't do as hot into the XSVR comp. There's a lot of counter engage on XSVR. Jarvan can kind of slow everyone down. You can have Cassante just send someone right back to their engage point. Zyra can slow them. Malzahar can lock people up. I feel like there's just more tools to disengage from XSVR than Elysium has to engage. And if they get caught out, yes, they have these shields. Yes, they've got a little bit of mobility and dodge tools. But like, if Sivir or Aurora gets caught on their own, they're kind of done for, I feel. There's, like they have the speed, they have a flash, and maybe they've got their spell shield, but like, Malzahar ults you, it's hard to, spell shield a Malzahar ult. They're just going to rip you into pieces. And I just feel that the champions XSVR has are stronger. Now, the Zyra does give me some hesitancy because of the Braum, but I would think I'd give it to XSVR to start this out.
I think XSVR definitely has like the clearer reference points for the comp. They have very easy engage with the Malzahar and the Jarvan, also the potential for a Cassante flank. But I do think if XSV oversteps on their engage, Elysium has a very good kind of kite back style with the Ivern shield, with the Braum. He can throw down that ultimate, use the get behind me or stand behind me to reduce a lot of that damage coming through. So I think if XSV can kind of pull off the death ball correctly, I think they have a very strong composition here. But I do think Elysium has picks that are very, very strong independently, but it is a little harder, I think, for them to find those angles because they don't have a champion that like directly forces an engage. Maybe like, flanks from the Vlad and Aurora could get a lot of value. I think they have a ton of damage, but yeah, a little bit lacking in the CC department. So I still think this could really go either way, but I would expect XSV to maybe have a slight edge. Just again, easy engage, easy ways to set up fights. That's usually what I look for, but it's execution at the end of the day.
Yeah, and that execution is what it's going to really come down to. So we're getting loaded in to game number 1 for our grand final. The hype is real, and we didn't see as much changes as I thought as we would in jungle priority for the draft. Still some of the same champions, but this is game number 1, so there's still room for more of these little picks to kind of sneak their way through later in the series. We'll be into that just a moment, but what I'm actually interested in watching is the Aurora. I feel like I don't see a lot of Aurora. I know even when she was strong, I feel like I never saw her that much.
I think we saw someone play an Aurora last week in the matchup. I think that was Elysium Solar that pulled it out maybe, but yeah, it's a pick that is I think actually takes a lot of skill to pilot. She has decent wave clear, very high burst with that QEQ combo when you've got the electrocute up, and her ultimate offers a ton of value in team fights. But to really maximize the champion's value, I think you need to weave autos really well, and you need to use the W. It's like, what is that? The Spirit Hop or something? I don't remember. The Across the Veil is the name. Okay, so that gets, using those two aspects of the kit, the stacking passive as well as the stealth, I think is really where you can get the maximum value out of this champion, because otherwise she can be kind of predictable. But if you can make yourself stealthy, hard to read, and find your nukes onto the enemy backline when they approach a bush or when they're fighting the rest of your team, that's going to be, I think, crucial for the side of Elysium this game.
Yeah, I don't even remember the names of the abilities for Aurora. She is my least played champion in terms of mastery, even lower than my previous lowest, which was Singed, who in 15 years of this game, I have only played like maybe 10 times. So you know more about her than I do, and I will defer to your judgment on her, as we are going to get on her way onto the rift for game number 1. Elysium Yggdrasil versus XSVR. This is hype, and it's off to a slow start, a little slow burn to get us going.
No one wants to give over those free kills in the early game, and no one really has easy ways to force a kill. Maybe the Ivern Q. I think that's the strongest level 1 ability that anyone has here. Braum passive, of course, also very strong, but yeah, just going to be a pretty defensive start here. Also, before we really get into the action, there is going to be a bit of an invade just to get some deep vision down, it looks like, and maybe someone will walk in here at an inopportune moment, but looks like they'll back off. I did want to also shout out, of course, Prophet of Tears, once again with the analysis of last week's semifinals and of the finals today, who has predicted a 3-1 in favor of XSVR, which I think is totally understandable. I think XSV was kind of underrated in their previous matches and really showed a lot of strength because I've casted, 2 of their previous series in these playoffs. I think the first one was a 3-0 and the second was a 3-1. That looked like it could have been a 3-0 also. So they are looking scary, and even given the regular season record, they look a bit better on paper than Elysium. But Elysium's made it here, which means they've got the chops to do it. So I would certainly not count them out just based on a little Google Doc.
Yeah, that is fair. And now we're already going to see Arrow getting locked up a bit. Angel getting a lot of poke on. That's the power, I feel, of the Jinx. The rockets early on are just so much bonus damage. And you got to respect that. Even if she doesn't really have a mana to sustain it for long, when you get caught right there by the grasping roots, it could be pretty easy to take a good chunk of your health, because he's already down below the half health mark and have to burn those pots. And in the mid lane, Rutledge gonna be off to, I think, the most difficult time to start this out. While he does have good wave clear, I feel like Malzahar does need at least the Lost Chapter before he really can get that clear going. And I know at least enough about Aurora that she has a pretty decent early game, at least minion clear.
Yeah, her way. I mean, I think she also likes to get the Ludens before her wave clear really comes online. Until then, she can run out of mana if she's spamming that combo on the wave. So I think it will be relatively neutral early on, unless there's a gank coming through. Then the burst out of Aurora is going to be getting a lot more value. But down bot. The bottom lane for Elysium has taken a lot of poke. They've already used all of their health potions early and are going to have to fall back on those biscuits. Of course, I think the Braum is a really good pick into this bot lane, but in these early levels, Braum doesn't offer a ton of damage nor a ton of sustain. It's really going to be in those team fights later on that we see this pick shine. So Arrow's going to have to weather the storm of the poke coming out from the Zyra and the Jinx, because they're at a pretty significant range deficit for the time being.
Yeah, and there's a lot of good ways to bait out. Like, while Braum normally is a counter, especially into Zyra and Jinx, it's also about a little bit, I feel like a little bit of a mind game. If you're, like, if you're Zyra, you just use the grasping roots to just kind of bait out the shield, and then you just sit there and wait for it to go down, and now you have free poke for, like, the next, 15 seconds, 20 seconds or so. So it's, as Arrow, you have to be really selective, I think, with when you're using those shields. You're not, if you're just kind of trying to block every single bit of poke that comes in instead of dodging it, you're going to find yourself eating more of it later when your shield is down. So something he's going to need to really think about, especially in these early levels, like you said. Zyra, very powerful in the early game. The Grasping Roots, along with the Garden of Thorns, will allow her to
Queenie waiting in the Tri-Brush up there.
Yeah, we do have Queenie waiting. Arrow going to put the shield up. Queenie coming in, looking for the engage. Not going to find the knock-up, though, and it's just going to take a light turret shot while XSVR's bot lane backs up.
That's going to give Guster Posey the window to look for maybe an invade or a gank up topside now. Try to get a little bit of a lead here in the CS department on Ivern. And Rutledge in the mid lane out of mana, so that's going to, this Malzahar is probably going to be looking for a back, hoping to pick up the Lost Chapter. Might not have the gold for it, though. Still pretty early into the game, and that's not when you want to be out of mana here. So far, Cordelia, I think, getting a little bit of the upper hand in these early levels.
And Kuzu having a little bit rough time right here against Yika. Kuzu had a really good series last week. I mean, all of XSVR I felt did. But this week, it's already off to a little bit rougher of a start. I mean, it is hard. It is Vladimir into, he's playing as Cassante into. That can be a little difficult to pilot. You're very, very melee, and Yika can kind of just poke at you, heal off if you manage to get any hits in. Though, it is taking a couple turret shots, and Kuzu, gotta be careful. Could get queued and taken out immediately as Yika going in, looking for this kill here. Oh, Kuzu, though, going unstoppable. It's going to stop Yika from further aggressing. He's going to burn the ghost to run. And a teleport, too, coming out of Cordelia. So, a lot of summoners burned on Elysium's side here already.
And that feels a little hasty out of Yika. It looks like he was level 5 when Kuzu hit level 6. I guess at some point this Vlad must have missed a little bit of XP, or maybe the wave just needed to fully die there. But I think if he has the ultimate, then Kuzu goes down there. Unfortunately for Yika, doesn't have it up, and so the ghost is sort of wasted. I think he would have preferred to just get that wave in, given that situation. But still some dominant early play, but actually a CS deficit for this Vladimir.
Yeah, Kuzu, well, I said he is a little bit rougher of a matchup. He's not dominating as much as he did last week. Is still winning in the farm game, which is impressive. Vlad, though, a notorious champion for you hit level 9 and then you become a real menace. So we'll have to wait and see how that matchup turns as the levels continue to pile up. Meanwhile, though, for anyone that missed it in the inlay feed, we did see the Dragon go over to XSVR. So that objective starting to get those stacking up already. Queenie, last week, when we were casting the game, you and I, she was dominating when it came to neutral objective control, and she seems to be continuing that up this week. Oh, hang on.
Guster Posey might be just dead here.
Yeah, Guster getting rooted up, knocked around, and blown up. It's gonna be Queenie, just as we're singing her praises. She's grabbing first blood for herself.
I'm not sure how Guster ended up in that position. That was deep in the river with 4 enemies collapsing. I don't see any deep vision that would have given them the idea to move, but maybe it was going for trying to get to the dragon. I'd have to go back in time because I was frankly not paying enough attention down there. As Yika's fighting Kuzu up top.
Yeah, Kuzu getting the better end of this trade so far. Yika getting knocked back is probably going to have to go into the pool, and he will get him out. And he did burn the ultimate as well, so that will be down. No Sanguine Pool, no Hemo Plague, just pure one-on-one with Cassante, which is never what you want to really deal with as we go into the replay.
Okay, here's a replay. Oh, it was a crab. Okay, well, I guess we can say at least Guster didn't flash for the crab.
Yeah, he didn't pull the
but still does give over the kill. Oh, and it looks like Kuzu also found the solo kill up top. Didn't even burn the flash or the ultimate, so that is not good for Yika.
Oh, he did burn the ult. He did burn the ult at least.
Oh,
but
it was still in the okay. It was still in the all out, but didn't even have to burn the flash. That is pretty devastating for this Vladimir, and that, you know, the early Spectrus Cowl is going to make this matchup very hard for the Vladimir to really efficiently poke. And so at this point, I think if you're Yika, you're mostly just trying to farm and scale, because every bit of damage you throw down onto the Cassante is probably just going to get healed up between the Doran's shield and that Spectrus Cowl. Not to mention probably second wind as well. It's very hard to make that damage stick. So, you know, using your cooldowns to get minions instead of champion damage, going to be the move, if you ask me.
And now 2 kills up, 2 neutrals up. XSVR continuing where they left off against Elysium, Yggdrasil's sister team last week. Just taking all the neutrals, taking control of these games. And, you know, it's really nice to see, the consistency from a team week to week. That's really what you need to be a champion. It's not just getting lucky one week. It's not just, getting, a slight leg up on one opponent and this is an easy walk the rest of the way. It's all about the consistency week to week, especially in the playoffs. And XSVR, they're
Rutledge could be in
showing
danger
still
here.
got it. Yeah, Rutledge being found in the mid lane as we see Yika get attacked on the top side. Rutledge will manage to... Oh, wait, am I spoken too soon? Nope, he is okay. He is fine. No, actually, there was an ult burn from the Aurora. So an ult for a flash, I'd say that goes in favor of Yggdrasil.
I'd agree with that. It's flash is a much longer cooldown, and Rutledge is going to have to take it back here. But the Malzahar wave clear is strong enough that he's not going to miss out on too much in terms of farm. But the early game still pretty decisively in favor of XSVR, as Angel might be in some trouble now.
Yeah, Angel getting knocked up by the Glacial Fissure, but will manage to walk away. Does get the Ignite casted on her. We'll get the heal as well. So Summoner, support ult. Still more trading going on.
Yep, a lot of trading down in the bot lane. And, for all I was saying earlier about Elysium's bot lane having the rough early game into that range disadvantage, it's turned around a little bit, it looks like, as they're still quite even in the CS department. And as we can see, they feel confident taking these fights now that they have that level 6.
Yeah, but who's not feeling confident? Ika, who's still struggling into this Cassante, who is now almost 30 CS up on the Vladimir and just continues to stack MR. He's going to just become such a problem for this.
Yeah, I think they're a full AP topside for Elysium, so if this Cassante chooses to split push, it's going to be really hard to answer. Sivir's really going to be the only person who can, chew through that health bar in the late game. I mean, maybe once you start getting some items on these AP champions, they'll be able to do something, but I feel like this is going to be a big problem for the side of Elysium. And, we were speaking of dominance earlier. I wanted to go quickly look at some of the stats, since we don't have too much. Actually, we might have a fight breaking up. But I'd say if you look at the stats and the predictions, overall, I think most of the roles are fairly evenly matched between the two. But Kuzu has a massive statistical advantage over Yika over the course of the season. And I think that might be where XSV finds a lot of their wins in this series, is through top lane because of that.
Yeah, we'll have to see if that top lane could have any impact here, as Kuzu has roamed down the dragon, burning down pretty low. Daisy is out. Griffin walking forward here. Oh, but he miscast the ultimate. But dragon will go to XSVR, and it will be Mountain Soul for this first game. So I don't think that's the dragon that Elysium wanted, but it could be a lot worse.
And that's the third neutral objective claimed by XSV. If they can get a kill here.
Yeah, they might be able to find one as Queenie goes on in looking for Guster. Gets a huge ult on the 4. Dilly will pick him up, but the rest of XSVR is continuing forward. The suppression on to the Aurora will take him down. Malzahar will fall as well. Now it's Angel versus 3 with Griffin trying to flash forward. Gets one, picks it up onto Dilly. Will manage to grab the second onto the Braum, but it will be Guster managing to grab 1 kill. Gonna get the shield up. Griffin looking to maybe secure an extra, but won't find it. So 3 for 3 in what honestly I thought would be a much more one-sided fight for XSVR.
Yeah, I was expecting that to go a lot better for them with that huge engage out of the Jarvan, but Cordelia uses the Between Worlds to get a lot of damage down, and the target focus is also a little all over the place. We saw many low health bars on Elysium's side that weren't picked up for a good long while. This is a challenging approach for the side of Elysium. They're at a numbers disadvantage, so they have to back off. And then when they think about walking back in onto Angel, I think here is kind of when things get bloody.
Yeah, and after Kuzu teleports back top, well, like you said, Between Worlds worked out great, but Jinx just gets to fire with so much AoE, and I think that's what really saves in this fight, Angel getting to do that. And then being forced to flash into the bush just to keep vision on their opponent. Oh.
Yeah, I still think, considering that they were at a pretty heavy disadvantage overall, I think Elysium can be sort of happy about the fact that they even got 3 kills, but they are down the feats of strength now. That was the 3rd neutral objective claimed and the 3rd kill of the game claimed by the side of XSV, which is going to put them in a nice position going into this mid game. Got with themselves a 1,000 gold lead, as well as those 2 dragons.
Solid spot to be early into game 1. It's only 14 minutes in, and a lot can still change, but 2 dragons, you've got your grubs, you've already got the feat of warfare. It's looking pretty good so far for XSVR. Now the bot lane starting to get a little bit of a push in. They look like they're setting up maybe for something, but the only neutral coming up is Rift Herald. I can't imagine the whole bot lane's going to go up there for that.
I don't know. They're moving through the river now. They might just do it. And Kuzu's just walking through the turret, shrugging off that damage. This Cassante is so tanky right now, and he's going to be able to get a lot of tempo by proxying these waves.
Yeah, Vlad does not have the best wave clear in the world.
Nice sidestep from Cordelia there on the grasping roots.
Cordelia doing very good work in this mid lane. While 0-1 and 3 was a big factor in what made that last fight, even like you said, the Between Worlds was just very powerful in terms of his damage output. And, you know, the Aurora could still be a very large factor in helping Elysium get back into this game. They're only down about 700 gold right now. Maybe, actually, sorry, about 1,000 gold. But they could still get back into it, as now the Herald is up. Queenie already in position to take this, would be the boot upgrade. And Kuzu looking for Yika. The Sanguine Pool gonna come out, but getting knocked back already. And Kuzu going all out. Queenie here looking for Yika too. No Sanguine Pool to save him this time. Queenie gonna pick up that kill and go right for the Herald.
This Cassante continuing to be a massive thorn in the side of Elysium. Now has helped pick up another kill, is up 23 CS, and yeah, it's just going to be pretty unkillable, I think, for the majority of this game, unless Elysium can force those 5v5s on their terms. So it's looking pretty tough, even though the lead doesn't look so massive for XSV. I still think they are in a really commanding position here.
Yika is part of the reason they're getting into that, because he's just being dominated by Kuzu this game. It has just been rough for the top side of Elysium, Yggdrasil, XSVR. Their lead, very solid spot, but again, not completely locked in yet. It's only 2,000 gold right now.
Elysium's got a nice setup around this dragon. If they catch someone walking in, they might be able to secure that for themselves.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to try to find Griffin here as the plants do come out. Stranglethorn's going to knock everyone up. Between Worlds gonna hit and allow them to get onto Griffin, but Griffin gonna walk out with health. Daisy still kind of wailing at her as Queenie goes on in looking for Dilly. The rocket's gonna fly. It's not gonna find anyone though, but the Malzahar ult will allow Queenie to secure that kill. Now Cordelia on the run, has no Between Worlds to escape, and Kuzu will manage to pick up that kill. Now Arrow and everyone else from Yggdrasil is on the run, trying to get away from this excited Jinx. Kuzu gonna tank this turret for his AD carry, see if he can maybe absorb some of that damage, allow her to finish another kill, but it will go over to Rutledge. 4-0 in favor of XSVR. They're gonna get this bottom turret. They're gonna get their 3rd dragon of the game. And they went from being in a lead to just complete control of this game.
And it's kind of off the back of an overextension from Elysium. I mean, we said, you know, this was a very dominant position for XSV, and it feels like Elysium kind of panicked, feeling like they had to make something happen here. But the zone control from that bot lane is just so good. The Flame Chompers, the Stranglethorns, it's really hard to chase them down. And so they kind of overcommit here, and then here comes the counter engage.
Very good from Queenie. The rocket getting absorbed by Dilly for the health, not really mattering because Rutledge has the ult, and because the Between Worlds was used so early, they didn't really get much from it. They only got really on to Griffin with it. And once Jinx gets excited, you know what happens. It just becomes a rundown onto your opponents. So good from XSVR. Now up 5,000 gold. We'll actually have to check the inlay once we get back to the picture. See where exactly their goal lead is now. Oh, it is actually almost 5,000, just shy of it. But, ooh, not even 20 minutes into the game. That is a great place to be.
Kuzu's now bullying Guster a little bit up in the top side. And yeah, it's just when you don't have those ultimates, you know, how are you going to kill this Cassante? They tried to kill the support and couldn't even pull it off. So it's looking really rough for Elysium right now. I think that was kind of the one opportunity they really had to claw their way back into this mid game. And that's another kill off on the sideline. I see Rutledge and Queenie both burn those ults. It's you know, not hard to piece together what happened there. The Malzahar lockdown for Jarvan to come through is just too strong, and the game is continuing to go even more in XSV's favor here.
And Queenie continues to live up to her name, the Queen of the Rift this game. This such a strong jungler. You know, we saw it last week with her domination of the neutrals and fantastic gank opportunity, and we're seeing more of it this week. Even when her Ivern gets taken from her, she's still finding opportunities to make plays, and we're going to see how that happened right here in this replay.
Yeah, pretty much a tale as old as time. There's the Malzahar R, and there's the Jarvan R. It's a simple 2-button combo, but quite effective.
It's a great combo. You do love to see it unless you're Cordelia, and then you're like, not again. As Kuzu getting caught by 4. Let's see if they can take this Cassante. A lot of MR, but not a lot of armor, so Dilly going to be able to get a lot of damage here. All the ults kind of burning onto him. He is getting really low, but he will go all out onto Yika. Now he's dueling him up here. All the members of XSVR have shown up. Kuzu still so low, but a huge shutdown from Cordelia onto the side, right onto Angel. And now XSVR, health bars getting low, are trying to get out. Queenie getting stunned up, forced to flash before the flag and drag. And Yggdrasil manages to secure a kill for themselves and a little bit of control on the map.
That's a crucial shutdown for them to find. And that's another flash burnt. You know, 4 flashes but that's a little too close to the turret.
Yep, Rutledge gonna just nuke Guster Mosey right there. With
right on the edge.
The power of the Nether Grass. You gotta respect it. You gotta respect the Nether Grass.
And I was thinking that might be an opportunity for Elysium to try to look for that. Rocket not going to find a kill. I thought they might have an angle to, you know, at least threaten the Otacon, try to force XSV into an uncomfortable position and find something. But instead, they pressure the mid turret a little too aggressively and comes back to bite them. So, you know, it is a shutdown, but not the most impactful kill in closing that gold lead. They are still down 1,000 gold, and overall I feel like XSV has just been playing really well together in this game and others. But this was a play where that wasn't so much the case. Kuzu getting caught off guard here, but it is so tanky. You can see how much they have to invest, and he's still able to make it out.
Yeah, it's actually, I'm honestly surprised he made it out and how long he spent fighting there. You see Cordelia with that huge between worlds. So that's going to be, I think, the name of the game for XSVR, is just keeping an eye on Cordelia. Because Cordelia can just one-shot your AD carry like that from full health in half a second. You probably need to make sure that she is nowhere near him. Ooh, was it a turret shot? I think it was just the Nether Grass.
There is at least one turret shot. I think it was like right on the edge though. And honestly, as a Malzahar player, you know, you got to know your turret ranges because that's your biggest ally.
No rocket hit anybody. Okay, so it did hit the Sivir.
Good reaction time to get the spell shield off. Wouldn't have died anyway, but you know. Yeah, it's for the aura.
Slightly to the left, that probably would have killed the Braum. As speaking of Braum, he is already near dead down here by the Atacon. It looks like maybe Elysium had tried to start it up, but XSVR is here. They are kind of getting control in the mid lane, trying to break this turret ahead of the dragon. This would put them on Soul already at 22.5 minutes. Angel just going to break this and use the get excited to rush on over to the pit. And now XSVR controlling the vision around the pit, controlling the red side of Elysium's jungle. And yeah, Elysium's just going to back off. They're just going to give over Soul for free.
Yeah, I mean, we saw XSV has all the setup. They have the Zyra for the zone control. They have Rutledge's ult to threaten anyone that even tries to get close. Yika was up in the top lane. Cordelia was down in the bottom lane. And so they just didn't really have the pieces to approach that fight. But they might think about going for this Otacon. It might. But there's a death push waiting for them if they do.
Yeah, Cordelia being looked on here, but it's actually gonna be on to Arrow. He will go down. Rutledge will go unstoppable. The only ult used being Griffin's. But the rest of Elysium is here. They do not want this Atacon to go down. They look like they want to contest it. It is burning fairly quickly. Daisy gonna come on out here from Gusters. Kuzu buying all the space with the ginormous blades in his hand. Con gonna go down. It will be secured by XSVR. Now the fight is breaking out. Can Elysium get out? Kuzu looking for an opportunity to go in. Queenie going in. Finds the ultimate. The Between Worlds from Cordelia will get her out of there, but it will leave Yika all alone. He will lose his Hemo Plague, trying to slow them down. And XSVR on the hunt for more. Queenie on the side, looking for those juicy kills. Rabbit hunting season, but doesn't want to continue that hunt quite yet.
This Cassante is really looking unkillable now. That Mountain Soul giving so much extra resistances, and that shield as well going to make, even finding the picks on the squishier targets more difficult. They're trying to get a little bit of damage down, but it just doesn't stick. The shield from the Mountain Soul as well as from the oh gosh, why have I forgotten the items name? The that magic shield. It's big. It's not going down anytime soon.
Yeah, it's just a monstrous shield and hasn't even really, I don't think, stacked much armor. Yeah, it really has very little armor comparatively. So Dilly, this is like your maximum damage point, buddy, until you get armor pen, and not even that, I don't know if it's going to be that effective. This Cassante is just, he's out of control at this point in the game. And while there is still time, the Vladimir's still scaling, still a powerful, threat. I just don't, like you said earlier, I don't know if they're going to be able to deal with them. There's too much magic damage on the side of Elysium for this tank, and not a lot of AD threats. Like, if Sivir has to go up and deal with it, you're just losing every fight. They're just going to force a fight, because if you don't have your AD carry, Cordelia is the only one with any damage right now. So, yeah, it's a rough situation for them to find themselves in. Rutledge looking for Dilly, but it'll be fine.
Now, if you're Elysium, I think you need to try to find the gaps, the lapses in concentration from XSV. That's kind of the only way in. If they're playing on their A game, I don't think you can win a fight pretty much ever. It's going to have to be, the Malzahar, the Jinx, or the Zyra. Those champions are still pretty squishy, even with that Mountain Soul. If you have some coordinated fire on an unexpected angle, you might be able to get a pick and try to, steal an objective. And it looks like there's just going to be a fight here. Cordelia in a pretty nice angle, but Rutledge does seem to have spotted it out.
Yeah, Kuzu teleporting on in, and they're gonna root up on to the Braum. Queenie going on in, getting 3 locked up in there. Guster gonna manage to get out, and actually they do get a shutdown. Yika has found Rutledge, and now Queenie, Angel, and Griffin are on the run. Kuzu all alone here. XSVR bit off more than they could chew, and they're gonna lose 2 for it.
I love caster cursing myself because I have no idea how Elysium won that fight. That was pretty much a straight up 5v5, but really good working together from Yika and Cordelia, layering those ultimates to get so much damage down, because that Vlad ultimate amps the burst from the Aurora, and they managed to get Rutledge from pretty far away. It didn't look like he was caught necessarily, and yet down he goes. But we're going to see it in the replay once again here.
Like, it looks so good for XSVR. They look like they found their pick. Look like Arrow, Dilly, and Guster were going to go down, but you see Cordelia here hit a huge Between Worlds, and that's what got them the kill onto Rutledge from over the wall. And with everyone already so low and you already losing your mid laner, that's just the sign from XSVR to head for the hill. Kuzu's tanky, but he's not able to deal with the whole team tanky yet.
And Dilly getting that shutdown on Cassante is exactly where you needed to go. Also, I just want to point out, look at Arrow's health bar. He was completely caught out by the Stranglethorns at the start of that fight in the middle of a bunch of people, but the damage doesn't come through. I mean, okay, that's a little embarrassing for Dilly to go down to the Baron at the end there, but they do get the Baron nonetheless. And just like that, Elysium Yggdrasil is, they're at a 3,000 gold disadvantage, but they seem to be right back in it. They are showing so much life despite you know, the unfriendly situation they are in.
Yeah, and they've managed to pull the gold lead back down to 3,000. So Elysium, while down so much, down soul and everything, still managing to find fights, still looking for the plays. And this is what you love to see in a grand final as the siege is underway onto the mid turret. Daisy buying space with Arrow, keeping XSVR from protecting their objective and more bounty golds. Really, it feels like Elysium just purposely fell behind almost just so they could get these bounties. They're swinging it back, now only down 2,500, but the turret will fall on the top side. Kuzu still a threat. Even if the team fights can end a little rough if Cordelia hits a big ult, Kuzu still dominates in the split.
And Yika has finished the Void Staff now. Might have had it in that last fight as well, but that is going to help chunk through this Cassante's health bar, as Queenie might find a side engage here.
Yeah, going into Cordelia, but there's 4 members of Elysium here. Though XSVR, everyone has showed up, so this could be the opportunity. Cordelia getting locked up. It's actually going to be right onto Dilly, and they're going to nuke through 3 of them in an instant. And now it's just going to be Guster, who will quickly fall. And that went from 0 to 100 in seconds. A double kill going over to Queenie, a double kill going over to Angel, and the base about to be cracked open. I don't know if they have the time. You think they could end the game right here?
I think they could, and I mean, that's really just, look at the vision. They were trying to hit that mid turret with no vision in the enemy bot jungle, no vision in the top jungle either, really, and they were just playing with fire. You know, I think the Baron giving them a little too much confidence there, because it looks like the game might be just about to end. That Jinx destroys these turrets.
Yeah, and Yika trying to do everything he can to stop it, but Rutledge will pick up the ace, and XSVR goes from a little bit of a precarious position to winning it just like that in game number 1.
I think the Rylai's on Malzahar did a lot of work in that fight too, slowing down the enemies, making it really easy for that engage to come through from Queenie and the rest of the squad. But yeah, it's a commanding victory in game number 1 for XSV Rush. A little bit of shakiness off, you know, when we saw that, you know, frankly, a great team fight from Elysium Yggdrasil at that Baron, but it's immediately thrown back their way to close it out in the first game of the series. We get a replay here, and yeah, I mean, they don't see Queenie, and even after that first engage comes through, they keep walking up, but the slows are here from Zyra. Rutledge, you know, there's no QSS to get out of this ult, and look at the damage come through all together now.
Yeah, and Cordelia took a massive amount of damage. Didn't even try to use the Between Worlds to kill Angel, just jumped the wall, but was taking rocket after rocket. And with that, it just allowed for that massive super mega death rocket to get the double kill off of Queenie's engage. And yeah, XSVR, huge statement game to open this. Sub 30-minute win, if I read that timer correctly. That is,
yeah.
That's how you want to start this if you are trying to win a championship.
I mean, it's a clean soul sweep. You know, they got the grubs, they got the Herald. It's all the early game objectives. There was the fumble at Baron, but the control of those early objectives really says a lot. The fact that Guster was not able to pick any of those up is a big problem. Now, I will say, maybe this is a case where they were trying to deny that Ivern pick because Queenie does like playing it a lot. And I've been in that case myself where sometimes, you know, you see the enemy's very proficient at something and you pick it away from them. But if they're very proficient at it, they probably know how to deal with it too. And that can backfire a little bit when you have that blue side pick and you overcook a little bit in the first phase of that draft. So that could be what happened here, or maybe it's just going to be, you know, Queenie has been gapping most of the junglers in this league from what I've seen. So we'll see if that'll change up in game number 2.
That's why they call her the Queen of the Jungle. But still more games to play. We're only on game number 1. These picks aren't going to come back for the rest of this series. So what else these teams got cooking? I already saw XSVR last week with cooking, but 2 of their big picks from last week's wins are gone now. So what else do they have in the tank? And for the side of Elysium Yggdrasil, what else have they learned? Because we saw those flashes of brilliance. We saw those moments where they had the good fights. What else do they have? What other maneuvers and strategies and tips have they picked up from their sister team from last week? And what else do they have in store for us? We'll find out shortly. We're going to go to a quick break, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with game number 2. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to game number 2 of the Conqueror's Finals. We just watched XSVR take a very strong start to this series, though. Little hiccups here and there off of the back of some strong plays from Elysium, Yggdrasil's mid laner, Cordelia. But XSVR 1-0 up going into game number 2.
It was a dominant performance, especially I would say in the top and jungle. So I think Elysium is going to need to change some things up if they're going to win in game number 2. You know, I said it earlier. I think statistically Kuzu has like a massive advantage over Yika throughout the course of this season, and I feel like they're going to need some way to shut down that top laner because that Cassante was a huge issue. We saw he was able to tank, the entire team and not go down. And, Queenie likewise getting a ton of value in the jungle on that staple Jarvan pick. Now, it's Fearless Draft. All the picks from that game are gone. So we're going to see how things shake out in game number 2. It looks like Elysium has opted to stay on the blue side, which means they may have something they want to first pick away instead of, opting for that counter pick. And we'll see what that's going to be in a moment here. It looks like the bans are mostly the same, but I don't think that Morgana was banned last game. I think they had a different third ban that time around. And so they're targeting one of those signature jungle picks from Queenie.
Yeah, I mean, you got it. Queenie's just, if Queenie gets uncomfortable, she's just taking over in the games. I am surprised that the Mel is banned from blue side. I feel like you could first pick it if you really wanted. So that might just say that Cordelia is not as comfortable on the champion, but there is comfort from Dilly on this Varus, which also got some changes in this patch. More focused on clipping the wings of Poke Varus for more on hit. We'll have to see if they adjust to that pick. The Ashe, the response coming from XSVR. And what's their second pick here?
A lot of utility from both bot laners' ultimates, and they're going to grab the Zac. Some powerful engage, especially, to follow up on the back of the Ashe ultimate or set her up. Can gank from a lot of unexpected angles and does a surprising amount of damage too. So that is going to be a powerful pick in the hands of Queenie, but there's a Nautilus on the other side that can actually grab the Zac out of the air if he times his hook properly. So that's a neat little interaction we might get to see this game. And the Poppy as well, going to be able to shut down those dashers. So they do not want to be getting ganked by the Zac, but they might need to group up properly to get the full value out of those picks. If someone's standing off to the side, they can still get jumped on, and it's going to be the Melio who can help disengage for the side of XSV and make that Ashe's, make her slows, make her AoE damage with the W even more powerful.
Yeah, giving that additional range and damage from Melio could be very effective in helping Ashe really run someone down. So good to see that coming out. The Mordekais are all getting banned yet again. I think we're going to see more top lane bans here from both these teams. Jungle ban coming out from XSVR with the Olaf. Could also, I guess, be top Mundo as well. So they are thinking this is Nautilus support, Poppy jungle, and Elysium. I'm guessing Ornn. Yeah, there it is. So the Ornn ban coming through into the second half of the picks and bans. XSVR on the clock. Who did they save counter pick for this time, mid or top?
Last time they saved that Malzahar for the last pick, if I recall correctly. And there's the Urgot. That is a signature Kuzu pick. We saw him kind of tearing it up on that last week, I do believe. Yeah. And that champion, it's another one that can really catch people off guard. If you hit the flip on them, those shotgun knees will just melt their health bars as long as you're keeping up in farm. Pretty tanky. And a Cassiopeia, even more anti-dash capabilities, which does get value here, but without seeing the mid, I don't love Cassiopeia as a blind pick. I do think in matches where she gets outranged, she might have a tough time. And Leona and not. Oh, okay. So that might be Poppy top, Nautilus jungle, and the Leona down support. That is pretty cool.
Guster Posey on the Nautilus support, the first to bring it out. I mean, the only one that's getting to play today. So fair enough, getting to be the first jungler this series and the only one to bring it out. As the Anivia locked in for Rutledge. Also another strong pick from last week. Did really good baiting with the egg. So, all right. These are the comps for game number 2. What do you think, Freedom Potatoes?
I think both teams have very strong compositions here. There's a ton of lockdown on Elysium's side, but that Melio is a great answer into it. Elysium has a lot of answers into the Zac engage that XSV has, and a lot of frontline that can tank up the Ashe. But I think the Anivia and the Urgot are really great picks here. Those can pump out a ton of damage while also being pretty hard to kill. So it's going to need to be, coordinated lockdown from Elysium. It's hard for me to really give an obvious advantage to either team here. I think it's this one out of all the games feels pretty even to me, just looking at the compositions.
Yeah, I think the Melio pickup is honestly is probably the star pick for me in this draft. So Poppy does counter Zac, yes, and I guess technically counters the small dash from Urgot, but Melio counters so much engage from Elysium with his ultimate. I like they have to play around that really well, because if they mess up and engage, now you're sitting in the middle of Anivia and Urgot. That is not where you want to be if you're a Nautilus or a Leona or a Poppy, just getting shredded into pieces by their consistent damage. So it's really, I think, going to be on. I feel like XSVR with the Poppy being there aren't going to get a lot of engage opportunities. It's going to be on Elysium to find these plays. Yes, they have a lot of tools, but one wrong step and XSVR will burn through that composition.
Their composition doesn't have a ton of range, and so yeah, Anivia, if she gets to play her game, is going to be a big problem. But there's a lot of point and click CC. The Nautilus can easily interrupt her ultimate and shut that down with his ultimate. Leona also can lock down the Anivia from quite far away. Even if she's walled off, that solar flare might be able to stop the glacial storm. And yeah, so I think a lot of this game is going to hinge around how Anivia is using her walls and her ultimate. And we'll see how that goes as we are getting onto the Rift now.
Yeah, game number 2 underway here. The deer are out. The night is young, but this series, it's heating up. Rutledge, Cordelia facing off. The snake versus the bird. I feel like I've seen this somewhere before, and I feel like the ending doesn't end very well for the snake.
I mean, it depends on the particular snake and particular bird. I feel like smaller birds might not want to tussle with a snake, but Anivia, she's pretty big. She could probably pick Cassiopeia up and drop her from a great height if she could actually fly. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
she's kind of just hovers close to the ground in this game, though.
Yeah. If she's a star, in this skin, she's like made of stars. Does that mean she's not a real bird? So thus the bird is really not real this time.
Birds are never real.
They're not. They're
go
just
down that
drones.
road. Yeah. That's the truth that no one really wants to hear.
It's all the penguins. Those are the real ones.
But
all right. Game, yeah,
slow early game, yeah.
Yeah, very slow early game. We have a lot of time to joke around as we're watching everyone get off to yet another slow start. We saw this in the last game as well, and I think we will see a lot of that this series, especially with a lot of these scaling compositions. The Varus is running lethal tempo, so this is going to be the on-hit Varus, seeing those nerfs to poke Varus. So I think that also will adjust how Elysium plays these fights.
And I know it was nerfed, but I do think this is a game where the lethality could get a lot of value. I mean, there's not a ton of range. If you do go that lethality build, there's not a lot of answers to it on the side of XSV. You kind of just get free poke off. I mean, there's the Melio healing and shielding, and Ika wants revenge for game number 1.
Does want the revenge, but Kuzu going to get that grasp and win out in the trade overall. So the revenge is still coming. Yeah. Still coming.
It looked good at first with the stun into the wall, the level up timer, but Kuzu just deals too much damage. Has the Cole, which is able to heal up a ton as well as he just used that W on the wave.
So we are gonna see. He's also running Precision Tree, so he might have that other one gives even additional health. front bangs right now is Kuzu finding
Yika?
Yika yet again, getting a lot of damage here. The dash stop doesn't really work once he's already dashed Yika.
Yeah, that was a bit of a puzzling usage of the heroic charge on a minion to get into range, but in the early game, without that extra little tick of damage, I think that just makes you lose the trade pretty hard. It can be some cool tech in the right situation. That did
Oh
not feel like the
no,
right situation.
Yika, I think he's about to go down in the top side, dueling up here against Kuzu. Although Kuzu is pretty low. Yika does not have any mana though, but if he gets the passive up, he might be able to find something. That auto ranged auto to the enhance for the shield could be the deciding factor, but with no other mana, I don't know if he should really take this fight. Kuzu does find the shield's gonna step on it to make sure not Yika can't pick that up, and Kuzu just continues right where he left off last game.
Guster might be looking towards the bot lane here. Griffin going for the ward just now. Oh, I think they might have seen that Nautilus a little earlier, actually, because they are playing way back on that wave. There is the ward in the other Tri-Brush, so he was spotted out. And yeah, so both top laners are burning the flash, but it's Kuzu getting the upper hand once again. But, you know, the Urgot just really favored in those extended trades. I don't think Yikar really wants to be in the ideal situation here. A little bit of scrapping in the bot lane, but that Eclipse makes Leona so tanky.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of difficult to break through the bot lane here. Ashe is a champion that does need a little bit to get online, especially with the passive. So, Queenie up on this top side, hanging out in case a gank comes through from Guster. He is hanging out. He's trying to walk down the lane looking for an opportunity here. Yika might try to bait him. Yeah, he is. Guster just hanging out. And Angel now looking for Dilly, gets the enhanced range from the Milio. They are going forward. They're just continuing to blast at him. Arrow trying to stun him, trying to stop any more coming out. And on the top side, Kuzu getting engaged on by the double. The stuns go everywhere. And Guster finally finds some vengeance for his top laner. Gets the first blood onto Kuzu.
We said revenge was yet to come, and there it is. Dilly snipes at the cannon minion down bot. But yeah, there is a lot of CC on the top lane, and with no flash on the Urgot, he's pretty easy to kill there. Still gonna get the wave in, get the reset off, and I don't think that's gonna completely swing the early game, but it is nice to get those early kills.
Yeah, now there's a pickaxe in Kuzu's hand. Yika does manage to get the Bammy Cinder, but gonna be a little difficult to deal with. Still a lot of damage coming out from this Urgot. You also got to remember when that W gets max level and it can just be up at all times, that's going to be make it even more difficult to deal with him. As Rutledge finds Cordelia with the wall, gets a big stun and almost kills Cordelia. Snake.
The level 6 power spike is so strong on Anivia. Once you can use the wall to control your enemy's movement around your ultimate, it's a very hard to dodge combo. You know, if you're not faster than your opponent and spacing them really, really well, basically undodgeable.
As anybody who has watched DBZ Abridged knows, the solution to anything undodgeable is just to learn to dodge better. So, gonna have to learn to dodge a bit more as Kuzu pushing in the top wave here into Yika. There is no Nautilus around this time, and it's been slower for XSVR on the neutral takes. They haven't even started yet onto this first dragon. It is just going to be a solo Mountain Drake, but dragon stacks, you know, that is, XSVR does love their dragon stacks.
And they could be playing for it here with Queenie showing up down in the bottom side. Might just be going for the crab, though. But they've got a little bit of priority with the earlier reset that they took in mid lane. And Yika feeling confident up against Kuzu now.
Yeah, Yika thinking he's got it with the assist. Meanwhile, Guster's
got level 6.
Yeah, found Queenie on the bottom side. Does have the level priority, like you said. And Rutledge, speaking of level prior advantage, has it over Cordelia, up a whole level now on the Anivia before the ROA is even fully online. Could spell some trouble in the future. And actually they are looking for the gank onto Cordelia. The ult will be burned, so that is going to be down here. Egg coming out from the side of Rutledge. Guster looking to maybe get a hook onto him. I don't know if that's what you're looking for, Guster. Queenie gonna pick him up, gonna stun him up, gonna drop the ultimate, maybe try to look for Queenie, but these are two champions with big passives. I'm not sure what you're doing there, Guster. Yika trying to maybe make something out of this onto Rutledge. Doesn't land the stun. Queenie gonna knock him up, hitting another stun. Oh, this is gonna end really badly for the members of Elysium. They are going to take out another passive from XSVR, but forced to flash. Yika not going to find anything, and that just gives Kuzu all of that free time in the top lane.
A lot of farm. Not actually able to pick up a plate, but yeah, I mean, it was a really good job by Cordelia to, you know, survive the gank 1v2, but Guster just goes in onto that egg, and you know, there's no damage follow-up. You're a Nautilus. Your main job is, of course, to lock down the enemies. You don't feel quite enough to just solo kill someone, especially not 1v2. And yeah, it just feels like they're kind of trying to salvage that play on the back end, but now Kuzu's getting bullied.
Yeah, Kuzu forced to flash. Yika doesn't have the flash to follow up. He's still looking for this kill. Gotta be careful, though. You are going under a turret, buddy, and takes 2 turret shots on his way. Guster will manage to grab the neutral. So Elysium in control of neutrals this game with the grubs. Guster, I question the build, and I'm just saying this having looked over the main subreddit. Never mind. Kuzu just takes out Yika on the top side. Okay, well, we did warn him not to dive the turret. He did not take our advice.
It's a greedy dive. Urgot, this is probably going to be the Urgot E having high priority here. Oh, doesn't even need the ultimate, actually. Yeah, that's just awkward. The Bomby's Cinder. When Kuzu lands the disdain, that flip with the E, the Poppy just starts tanking the turret and has really no recourse, no way out. I think Yika's really wishing he had that flash instead of having to burn it in that mid lane fiesta earlier.
Yeah, and now the dragon going over for XSVR as they begin their favorite activity, stacking dragons. Guster, so I was gonna say I questioned the build. So I was looking at the not main subreddit, and they were actually taught like theory crafting on the best build now with the Nautilus changes for jungle. And something brought up by a lot of them was that Bammy's and oh God, why am I forgetting the name of that item? The burn item.
Faded Ashes?
Yes, thank you. The Faded Ashes. It's actually, you don't want both. You want one or the other. And I forgot what the reasoning was, but it does help against
on a Griffin.
Oh, Dilly gonna drop the ultimate here, but is now being hunted. Doesn't have any more mana to really follow up and is forced to flash away from Angel. So, one ult for one ult, but a flash as well puts that trade in XSVR's favor. And Elysium, some of these plays are feeling a little desperate as the arrow, Enchanted Crystal Arrow flying from downtown, gonna land right onto the Cassiopeia for a huge stun, but Yika is here. Rutledge does not have the passive this time to get away. Queenie gonna ult, looking to run. The hook gonna land from Guster and force the flash from Queenie. So, Elysium does manage to secure another kill for themselves in the mid lane. Oh, Dilly! Ooh, that Q could have really landed. You gotta watch out for the ult to make a fire kick.
Yeah, it's this time it's top side for Elysium that's really showing their strength in this early game. They've been moving around the map a lot more aggressively, and even though they, you know, might have had a little oopsie in the mid lane, I am still liking what I'm seeing out of Yika so far. On the other hand, the bot lane really feels like they're struggling into this Ashe Melio. You know, they saved the Nautilus as a flex pick, and then they grabbed the Leona, which I don't think does very well into the Ashe Melio. Yes, she's pretty tanky, and Ashe isn't like the highest DPS ADC, but it's never really easy for her to go in onto those fights in the 2v2 either. And so I do have to question that pick a little bit. Maybe it'll show up and prove me wrong later, because it seems like every team loves doing that as soon as I'm a little critical of them. But it's yeah, so far the bot lane feels like it is struggling for the side of Elysium Yggdrasil.
Yeah, it's I mean, we saw this last week, I think, as well, right? With that R5 Alistair pick. Was that last week? Was that our semifinals last week, or am I misremembering the game? The R5 Alistair pick that just lost its lane really hard.
Flash engage.
Yeah, speaking of losing hard, Arrow losing out on that engage there with the flash. The Chains of Corruption are going to land, as will the Depth Charge, but that's 3 ultimates and a flash for nothing from Elysium.
Yeah, they don't get much there. Just the cleanse and the heal summoner spells. and it's just going to be a march back to mid lane for Cordelia, but they might try to engage once again. Hex Flash is up for Arrow. Ooh.
Yeah, Griffin with a beautiful flash there right after the Hex Flash comes in. Queenie is around, doesn't know he's on a ward though, and Guster is here, so gotta be careful. Rutledge also around to assist, doesn't know he's also on a ward, so they are being kind of out-scouted here, but I mean, this is Rutledge is Anivia. You don't want to. You got to be really careful when you're facing it, especially with how well Angel and Griffin are doing down here on the bottom side.
It's still another minute until our we've got the Drake or the next Drake up, and Herald also not for another few minutes. So it's really just going to be farming in these lanes, I think, unless someone forces a play. And whew, let's see. It's going to be the Blade of the Rune King picked up now for the Varus. So sitting pretty even with the Ashe item-wise, but you know, despite all the maybe not so great trades we saw down bot earlier, hasn't had too much influence on the farm this game. But Varus late to pick up this wave, down a little in the XP department. Actually, I'm trying to see here. Is Angel up 2 levels? Maybe I spoke too soon. Or no.
They're the same level.
They're the same. They're the same. It's just hard to read white text on Ashe's blindingly white hair.
Yeah, and speaking of blinding, Rutledge got it blinded there in the mid lane, was forced to burn the flash to escape in the fight, but it's still going on. Ooh. Queenie finds Cordelia and Arrow with a big ultimate. The ult coming out from Cordelia, though, will it be enough? No, it will not. Feat of Warfare gonna go over to the side of XSVR as Queenie picks up that kill. Now Guster on the run. Nautilus can go in, but he has a lot harder time going out. He will fall. The Chains of Corruption will land, but Griffin will pop the Breath of Life to allow XSVR to continue onward, and 2 kills go the way of XSVR. They're gonna go for this Ocean Drake, get these dragons, continue to stack. Angel now hunting for Dilly, does manage to land the slow. Oh, Dilly gonna get run down. Arrow now going forward, trying to save his AD carry, but Rutledge lands a beautiful stun. The flash cleanse coming out of Dilly will get him out of dodge, but Arrow is not long for this world. Angel will pick up that kill, and now it's 3-0 in favor of XSVR. The dragon still here. Cordelia may be looking to steal, but will not get it. Easy secure for XSVR. And they go from, it goes from Elysium starting to find some good opportunities in this game and in this series to once again XSVR just turning everything on its head.
Yeah, the early game was looking, you know, even at least. I mean, certainly not hugely in favor. We were seeing a 2-2 kill score, neutral objectives, no real gold, no huge gold lead either way, but they overextend mid to like hit the turret when they're, you know, Dragon is coming up soon and they're off tempo from the rest of their team. And Elysium just gets punished so hard for it. They are now in a massive hole that they're going to dig themselves out of. Yika down 2 levels now. You know, it's, yes, I did say I was liking the little bit of roaming, but at a certain point, you know, the Urgot is going to win this 1v1 extremely hard now with a almost 40 CS lead, up a full level, and is, well, we might see that 1v1 happening right here.
Yeah, he's just getting torn up, but Guster is here. Now Kuzu on the run, trying to stay out of range of the hooks. It's going to go wide. Keeper's Verdict will land, but not going to
comes Ashel.
Arrow coming out. It's going to hit a huge stun from downtown on to the Poppy, and Kuzu going to use the ult to rip that up. Now Guster is going to be Buster as he goes down. That's another 2 kills to XSVR as they go onto the Herald. They're looking to get the feats, get those enhanced boots yet again. Oh, XSVR. They just anytime it looks like they're on the back foot, they always find a way to turn it around. It's actually impressive.
Their coordination across all of these series has been really impeccable. I feel like every time it seems like the enemy has found something onto them, they are, you know, they have their teammates there first. And, well, he might be overextended here.
Yeah, Dilly getting run down under the turret. Angel just shreds him to pieces. And now Arrow is also going to be on the run. There is no Enchanted Crystal Arrow. They did have to burn Cleanse because Chains of Corruption. Oh, no, it wasn't Chains of Corruption. It was Arrow's Solar Flare that came out. But still, XSVR continuing to find wins in every lane. Now Arrow going to get run down. Angel just slicing and dicing with those bows. Emilio going to hit the Ultra Mega Fire Kick. to make sure there's a little bit of extra damage. Guster is down here to support his support, but all the CC in the world isn't going to help you when you've got Milio Ash here.
And 17 minutes into the game, it's starting to smell a little bit like desperation from the side of Elysium. They found themselves very far up on that bottom play, you know, trying to take advantage of Milio not being there, but as soon as he shows up, Angel feels real confident turning the play back around, even without the ultimate that was used to help, you know, in that top side fight. And it's 8-2 the kill score now, closing in on a 5,000 gold lead, and here comes another fight.
Yeah, and there goes the Chains of Corruption, goes wide, the Enchanted Crystal Air World help. Oh, Guster flash hook misses, and level 45, more like level 200 with the 200 IQ play from Angel. And now Yika is not long for this world. The Herald dropped top will allow Kuzu to get this top inner turret, and things just go from bad to worse as Cordelia has been caught out by Rutledge, and Queenie, the ultimate, will miss, and so Rutledge goes on a killing spree.
It's just a montage of things going wrong for Elysium at this point, and really it's XSV.
Oh no, Arrow, not long for this world. Guster's coming down to help. Griffin, gonna be careful. You still gotta respect the Nautilus. Dilly taking a lot, Arrow taking a lot. Gosh, this is, I just don't see any risk that Elysium, I feel bad. Like,
Guster may be a little shaken from that juke from the Ash earlier, because he didn't even go for the hook on Griffin, which, you know, there's no summoners and there was no ult, I think, on the Milio either. That actually could have been a kill, even if they don't get the Ash. But maybe he was scared of the consequences, you know, of baiting his own team potentially. And yeah, Kuzu was able to grab that top inner turret solo gold, and the bottom outer turret also going down now. The mid outer turret probably not long for this world either, and 40 seconds on the Drake that will put XSV on soul point if they get it.
I always feel bad in a game when, like, I'm like trying to find positives and it feels like I can't. But right now, I just don't see a positive outlook for Elysium. They are just wait, actually, they might have found one. I may have spoken too soon. Rutledge gonna be found by Guster Poss. They're gonna drop one ult. They're gonna put him into the egg. The Enchanted Crystal arrows here. The teleport from Yika. They really, really just want kills here, and they're gonna find a shutdown for Guster onto Angel. So 2 kills for nothing for Elysium. They threw everything in the kitchen sink at it. They picked it up. They want this Infernal Dragon. They really want to get these stacking. Will be very, very powerful in the Cassiopeia and Avaris. But there are still 3 members of XSVR here, and one of them is the monstrous Kuzu, who is looking really good. And I don't think they're going to contest it. So Caster Curse has benefited Elysium this time after we jinxed them in game number 1.
I think we just need to start saying really mean things about Elysium, because every time we say the game looks hopeless, they find some miracle fight. It's the second time now, but Rutledge is TPing into mid lane. They might try to find a pick here because they are overextended on this turret.
They are indeed. And here comes Queenie, finds one, isn't going to manage to find a stun quite yet. Will actually grab the root onto Dilly, and now Rutledge going for Yika on the side here, trying to save his team. Queenie going in. Here comes Kuzu, though. Yika trying to keep him off onto the side here, but you can't stop the air dot for long. They're going to manage to grab the Nautilus. Kill picked up for Angel. Rutledge will grab Yika, and now Angel going forward, finds Dilly, looking for Arrow, just goes forward and gets a triple kill for himself, and 4-0 in favor of XSVR.
And once again, the pendulum swings back the other way. Just after we cast or curse XSV, and you know, Elysium finds a massive fight, they get a little too confident. They're hitting a turret when, you know, it's not their turn. Yes, they got a bunch of kills. They got the dragon. They should be happy with that. Go home, spend your money, get back out onto the map stronger than you were, because instead, Queenie finds a big engage. The follow-up is all there, and now Otacon's been taken by XSV, putting them firmly in the lead. And not that they were ever really losing it, but, you know, gold lead closed from like 7,000 to 5,000 for a second, which is something.
Yeah. And also, I'm not saying this is what teams do. I know a lot don't actually hang around to wait a moment. Rutledge has found Dilly. The chains of corruption were not there. Dilly just blows up. Oh my god. The storm, the glacial storm is more like Darude's sandstorm because it shredded him to pieces. And now Kuzu and Yika going at it. Kuzu at half health, but this is a 200 CS Urgot with 2 full items. Yika, though, winning out a little bit. Kuzu has to flash. Be careful of the
How is he
walls.
forcing the flash there?
Oh, yeah, Yika going in. What are you, buddy? Oh, no. Oh, no. Kuzu goes on a killing spree. Turret falls in the mid lane. XSVR just continues to find win after win. Elysium, they may have gotten a little too excited after that big play earlier, but you gotta slow down a bit, buddy.
You know, Yika's got heart. I'll give him that. He is not stopping playing with aggression, even though it is not necessarily going his way. But I was certainly impressed that he was able to force the flash out of Kuzu. But once Kuzu has those cooldowns back up, it is an easy win. The Sterix baits the Poppy in, and she just gets chewed up by that Fear Beyond Death.
Oh, the flash hook mixes from Guster. Rutledge forced a flash, but he does get the Nautilus ult. He does get the Leona ult. So much in his favor going there. The stun landing onto Guster. Now Angel gonna see if he can find this kill. They're slowing him down. They're walling him up. Guster has nowhere to go but back to the fountain. Angel goes on a rampage, and that might be the call for XSVR to head up towards... Actually, I take that back. It's too early for Baron. It feels like we're so much later into this game than we actually are.
I mean, that's just the pace of the game that XSV is playing. They are killing everyone, everywhere, all at once. And it looks like Cordelia might be next. Actually doing pretty decent in the 1v1, but now there goes the flip. And there goes the snake.
Fear Beyond Death brings some mercy to Cordelia as we watch how all of this kind of broke out. What just happened here? Oh. Oh, this is 1v1 basically.
Yeah, it's, you know, a little bit of damage in from the Melio. Queenie didn't even get in on that kill, but at this point, it's so scary to walk anywhere if you are Elysium. The Ash ults, the Zac flying over the wall from Anivia as well. They have so many ways to catch you out, and even if you just get tagged by a little bit of a slow, that might be enough to set up the next layer of their engage. And it has a lot of layers. They're going to look for a play down bot lane, maybe with Rutledge hitting this turret, but XSV is there in the jungle to match.
Now the ult from the Leona gonna land onto Rutledge, but Griffin will be there to save his mid laner. Queenie trying to go in, Yika gonna block it up, but the turret will fall. So Yika will as well. He's gonna get picked up, taken down. Queenie gonna secure that kill. And XSVR, oh, Guster finds and engage in a way, but it's not gonna matter. Rutledge gonna pick that up onto Dilly, and now the ult's coming on in. Guster trying to get on to Queenie. The shutdown though onto Angel. Angel maybe went a little too far forward. Now Rutledge gonna go into the egg, but they're gonna lose Cordelia. They're gonna lose Guster. 4 for 1 in favor of XSVR. And this could be yet another quick end to this game from like this time more about 40 to 100. Minions are rolling in. It's just Arrow versus the world trying to stop XSVR, who, yeah, they decide they're not ready to end this game quite yet.
Yika and Dilly coming back up. You know, Griffin just feels fine walking out and tanking that turret. That shows just how ahead they are. It is a 13,000 gold lead now for XSV. I mean, you give them an inch and they take a mile, it seems like, because they are just, yeah, it is just a cascade of kills. Every time one person gets caught on the side of Elysium, someone else steps up to try to compensate, and they are just next on the chopping block. But for now, it's just going to be the sole point claimed over to the side of XSV. And Baron live now as well, that we have hit the 25-minute mark. So I can only assume that XSV is just going to grab that and close this game out in the next couple minutes.
Yeah, it feels like it's only inevitable at this point. 13,000 gold lead at 25 minutes. It's almost 500 gold lead generating per minute from the side of XSVR. And you've got to think that...
What happened to those minions? Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
a little bit of lag.
Just a matter of time until this is all done. The game can't even keep up with the pace XSVR is setting. The crab goes over XSVR, looking for Cordelia. Arrow and Guster are here. The Enchanter Crystal are going to go wide, but the Elastic Slingshot is going to land. The Petrifying Gaze will lock up Queenie, but it's not going to matter anyways. 5 members of XSVR give Angel the kill, and that's got to be the call for the Baron. It's going to be 4v5 here. The elastic slingshot set up. Queenie going in, Arrow forced a flash, but Dilly and Arrow have been caught. Yika trying to buy some space with the Keeper's Verdict, does manage to land 2 out of there, but Kuzu is here. He does not care that there's a depth charge. He does not care that the rest of his team isn't there, as Queenie picks up 1 kill. Yika on the run. Griffin might try to pick this up. Is he going to pick it up? No, he's going to give it over to Rutledge. So just slowly waiting for Rutledge to secure this kill, as he will find it, go on a killing spree on the bottom side. Queenie and Angel running down Arrow. Guster looking for that hook, but might be glad he didn't land it, because I feel like that was just an inevitable death if he did. And now this might be XSVR's chance to end the game. The top turret is broken. Another turret breaking here. Actually, sorry, not a turret, just Arrow. He fell as fast as a turret there. As he goes down, there's only Cordelia and Guster alive. The Nexus is getting beat up on by XSVR. Guster manages to land the hook. Kuzu trying to buy some space for his team, will go on a rampage. Will finally fall to Cordelia, but Rutledge will manage to secure a kill, and they just kind of chase it into the fountain. They pick up Cordelia, they pick up the Nexus, and XSVR finds themselves on match point to take the title.
It's another dominating performance from XSV Rush. They a little closer in the early game. I have to give a little bit of credit over to the side of Elysium Yggdrasil there. They were finding better plays, I think, and showing a lot more life, a lot more proactivity, but it's not enough. They made some really key mistakes. We saw the tower dive up top, the random Nautilus engage onto the Anivia egg in the mid lane, and off the back of those little mistakes. Also, even when they found the big team fight, when they overstay their welcome, they get caught, and it just turns the game back around on its head. So really need to see, I think, some more discipline from the side of Elysium going forward, because they have shown at times that they can go toe to toe with their enemies, but on the whole, XSV is playing more coordinated. They're playing more disciplined, and it's working out massively in their favor. They know how to bide their time and just explode onto the rift in that mid game, even if they're relatively even for the first few minutes.
Yeah, they are just explosive as a team. Elysium, they're, like you said, they're showing signs of life. They're showing moments where they can kind of claw it back a bit, but again, it just continues to feel like for every inch we take, it's a mile that every inch they take, it's in a mile that XSVR gets in return. But before we get underway towards game 3, which could potentially be match point, could be the end of this series, this grand final, we're going to take a look at MVPs. We showed you them last week, but we want to run this through yet again just to show you everyone and their standings. For Conqueror, we've got Spoobert, OP Kills Switch, Rutledge, Egg Whites 101, and the Ninja here, with Egg Whites as your MVP for the season. That was your all-pro first team. And MVP runner-up, Rutledge, though right now making a good case for the MVP. Looking so good in this series.
Seriously, Rutledge has been very dominant, especially in this game number 2. The Cassiopeia just doesn't really have the range to deal with the Anivia. If they go toe-to-toe, I tend to favor the Anivia unless Cassiopeia is massively ahead. But it's interesting that not a lot of the players, at least at the top of this list, are actually here in the finals. PTF went out, I think, in the round of 16 it was, and yeah, a lot of other teams getting knocked out. We do, of course, have Guster, Posey, and Dilly down there on the third all-pro team, but overall, it feels like XSV Rush is pretty massively underrated outside of Rutledge, and they have been showing up in playoffs. Maybe it's just that playoffs buff. They know how to turn on the heat when it matters, but yeah, it's surprising to see a lot of them absent.
Yeah, I'm surprised Kuzu is not on this list at all. Like like with how strong he's been performing, you would have think this. Maybe it's because I didn't see enough of his gameplay this season, but it feels like he's just been a monster just through and through. But it is also exciting to see so many. Like, it's exciting to see Rutledge here. The only member of the first All-Pro team to make it, actually across first and second All-Pro team. He's the only person here. It's not until you get to the third All-Pro team before you see Elysium's Guster, Posey, and Dilly showing up. So yeah, a lot of these all pro players, didn't manage to get all the way through here to the final. So it is always impressive when you see the ones that do make it this far. It really shows just, how strong they really are.
Yeah, and I mean, there can be all sorts of reasons for that. It is, community voted. So some players have a name for themselves. Some players, might have quiet but very strong performances. It's hard to strictly explain what's going on. But I do think everyone here has certainly earned their spot. This is a massive league, so I wasn't able to see all of these players perform throughout the regular season, but we are getting to see Rutledge perform to his very best right now. That certainly secures his placement on that list for me.
Yeah, and we'll have to see if he can really close it out. Again, 2-0 up right now for XSVR. Can they close this out with a 3-0 in dominating fashion for what I'd have to check the timer. Could be our fastest grand final ever. Or will Elysium Yggdrasil find the reverse sweep to take it all the way? Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with game number 3 right after this. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Conquerors League Grand Finals. We are possibly one game away from this series ending. XSV are up 2-0, and it's on Elysium. They've got to be able to make the reverse sweep if they want to win this.
They are going to need to reverse sweep, and they have switched to red side, so maybe that's a secret, giving themselves counter pick. We saw last game, they kind of saved counter pick for their support with the Nautilus flexed into jungle, but I feel like that didn't work out so well for them, but maybe they have an angle this time around that they'll be able to use, because a lot of those powerful picks that a team might want to be one away from their enemy have been taken off the table, you know? So the game has evolved over the course of this series thanks to the Fearless draft.
Yeah. And it is going very simple. The only thing that doesn't evolve is really the bans. We're seeing a lot of the same bans: the Volibear, the Mel, the Vel'Koz, and the Smolder. So the more things change, the more they stay the same.
Yeah, that is one of the sort of downsides of the Fearless. I mean, I always say a team that is like really locked in, I think, can change their bans up to enable a different style of composition from game to game. But I think for the most part, teams, you know, have a style they like. They're going to try to stick to that style, but just change the champions around a little bit. And that means they're going to just keep the enemies OTPs and power picks away. But we've got the first pick open, and it's going to be the Brand, who was recently buffed on this patch. So that might be a new power pick for the side of XSV.
Yeah, could be an opportunity for them to find a new victory condition as the Lucian gonna come out here for the side of Elysium, looking to be more aggressive in this lane. They couldn't take the late game hyper scale carry. They couldn't take the mid game with the Varus. Now they're going for the early game. Lucian Nami.
Lucian Nami, it's a classic combo. I mean, can't beat the classics, or maybe you can if you're XSV, but it's a change of pace for them, a lot more early game aggression. And I was thinking before getting into this game, Elysium's bot lane is one of their, I think, better points that they have, and I think that is something they should try to play through. So I like seeing this sort of change of pace. And Yika likes a lot of these kind of more mobile, shorter range, get in your face and deal damage ADCs, and we haven't really gotten to see that so far. So I'm excited to see how this lane plays out. But it is going to be answered with the Misfortune and the Maokai, who, if they work together, can deal so much damage in a team fight with that bullet time paired with the Grasping Roots, Nature's Grasp. Yeah. So it's that and then a Kha'Zix. I am excited to see that one. I was not expecting to see a Kha'Zix in this series. I don't think Guster has picked that so far in the split, but if they're assuming that the brand is the jungle, then I see that as an answer to go for some invades, make it hard for Brand to farm and scale the way he wants to, and just jump on him in team fights.
Yeah, Guster wants an easy win. Brand loses very hard in the Kha'Zix. Kha'Zix will just nuke him if he finds him out in the jungle alone, which, could be a good opportunity. It could be a way for Elysium to find a way into this. I like seeing this adjustment in their draft. Also, some changes in the pick and ban Shen and Lux this time. So that makes me think the Ornn is coming through, but who's going to take it? XSVR has the first opportunity as the Syndra gets locked in for Cordelia. Good solid mid laner here into these squishies coming from XSVR, but there it is. There's the Ornn gonna come on through. And what is the answer into Cordelia here?
Could be like a Fiora. Yika does play some of that, plays some Kale. So something I think that can, stack up the damage. Ooh, Fizz is picked up into the Syndra. That is a very difficult matchup for the Syndra. She, because Fizz can very easily react to the Scout of the Weak, jump over the balls, and get right on top of you. And especially once he's got level 6, can one-shot you. But it's going to be the Yone as the answer into the Ornn. So that's, something that can pump out a lot of DPS, can kind of take advantage of, Ornn can put out some early aggression if you're not careful, but is probably hoping to be able to play a safe early game, get to become a monster later on. So as we head on to the Rift, what are your thoughts on this draft, Raptor?
So I think there's a lot of power in Elysium, a lot of burst, a lot of just blow up a target, hit him with the Syndra ult, hit him with the Yone ult, get that taste their fear from the Q on Kha'Zix, get the culling, and just nuke somebody off the map and try to make a 5v4. But I think the late game, I have to give it to XSVR.
Angel might be
Ornn is always
a dangerous situation here. I think Elysium has several members in that bottom bush, but Angel not quite close enough to be in real danger yet.
Yeah, there are so many there. I always feel like I see AD carries the second, like, oh, do I know there's something in this bush? Tiki, I'm going to walk forward and get hooked. But so far, Angel has been safe, just running back and forth. Dilly and Arrow looking for him. The movement speed will land, so he knows W started on Dilly. And advantage so far, Elysium. They have the poke.
I mean, there's no hook on their team, and it's kind of funny that that's the play they go for. The one game they don't have, some hard CC down in the bot lane. I feel like if they'd done something like that last game, or even in game number 1 with the Braum, they might have had a little bit more success. But here, they just get some bush control, and that's still nice for them. But XSV is going to see that Kha'Zix is not starting up on that top side. It is going to be the blue start for him, blue start for Brand. So they're just going to be clearing away from each other unless Guster decides to go for an invade down towards that red side.
Yeah, and right now he's just looking to do a normal player. We'll see if that does turn it into an invade. Would be a good opportunity for Kha'Zix to find something as Dilly and Angel going at it. Let's advance from Dilly. Oh, Dilly forced a flash after he gets exhausted. The heal coming out from him too, but he is losing this trade bad. Forced to burn the barrier, and Angel, not even 2 minutes into the game, gets first blood.
I mean, you're just taking so much of the wave there. I feel like the mental for Elysium might have just been broken over the course of these last 2 games, because that is a really aggressive move. The start of the trade looks maybe okay with those, empowered autos coming through from the Nami, but as soon as Maokai goes in, I mean, that's probably at least 100 extra damage that the minion wave dealt there, if not more, because they were in deep. And yeah, it's
Oh, Cordelia! Oh no, Rutledge follows Cordelia's flash and manages to secure his own solo kill. XSVR, they're not even waiting on this thing. They don't want to go slow. They're playing fast.
I mean, they're already up like 800 gold at 2 minutes. Like, I mean, they could be on track for a new record. Angel is low, but Dilly's just come back from the fountain and only just hits level 2 now.
Yeah, now Cordelia and Rutledge trading at it. Both Rutledge and Angel have not backed yet, so there is still a lot of opportunity here as Rutledge. Oh, Guster has found him, but can he lock this kill in? No, he cannot, because the troll pole is there. They do manage to land the stun. Guster flashes forward, and he's not going to find it. Griffin looking to maybe just get the support solo kill onto him, but he's going to go for Cordelia instead. And Yikov finally winning a matchup in one he should be winning, but it's still, Elysium, there's still signs of life. They're still trying to make this work, but Kuzu may have found Yikov right here.
Uh-oh, it is looking disastrous all across the map for
He's
Elysium.
going to flash WM. He flashes. He's looking for him. Is he going to land the Q? The headbutt comes through, and the unstoppable Kuzu takes the Coltrane on in.
Ooh, well, we may be staring down the barrel of a quick 3-0 unless Elysium can do one of their signature anti-caster curse moments here, because yeah, it's just brutal. And now Queenie is showing up in the bot lane as well.
Yeah, but Griffin goes a little far forward. They're going to get stunned up under the turret and will trade his life, but the kill goes over to Arrow. So another kill onto Angel, a kill onto Arrow. So Elysium is at least on the board. They will not get clean swept here, but that's not where you want the kills.
Yeah, you don't want the kills on the Nami. You would much prefer those be going on to Lucian, but you can be at least a little bit happy about getting the 1-for-1 when you were getting ganked. You know, it does mean Kha'Zix gets to farm a little bit, but he's still down CS on the brand, doesn't have any KP. Yeah, brand just already exerting a lot of influence on the map. And Yikov, I mean, I feel like this has happened a lot of times in the series where Yikov is like in a winning state, kind of, but then it is, you know, staying too long in the wrong place and eats a much worse trade. You know, if we can pick up the pieces, it might be able to be, you know, there's those issues could be ironed out. But once you are behind in this matchup, it gets kind of tough because that Ornn already has a Bramble Vest, and that's gonna help him out a lot in the 1v1.
Yeah, so Guster putting priority on getting this mountain. It is a solo mountain, but with an Ornn on the other team, you really shouldn't give him any extra tank stats, so they're going to try to lock this in. Kha'Zix, a great solo killer on the jungle and dragons and objectives because of his passive there. That unseen threat really allowing him to clear through it. And they're going to pick this up pretty easily, so getting first dragon, a change of pace for Elysium. Griffin just going to clear out the vision. At least they're fine. They're trying to find something. They're still looking for things, but they are down about 2,000 gold right now by just under 6 minutes into this game.
Yep, but so it's kind of a miracle that they get the dragon in spite of that. But Queenie is farming up a storm on this brand, and they might actually look for Guster here. They have the counter gank waiting in the bush with the brand, but Kha'Zix not going to go for it here. And now the mid laners have hit level 6. Rutledge has that shark available to threaten and, you know, just one-shot anyone he finds. I think there might be a dive happening bot here.
Looks like they're setting up for it. Rutledge was coming down, but so far just getting some fruit for himself. You know, fish got to eat some fruit too as part of the healthy diet. And Rutledge has been very strong in this mid matchup into Cordelia on the Fizz.
This is that can kind of make or break it as a Syndra. When you use that E, you just need to back off and like really farm from range with your Q, because the Fizz can punish that ability being down. He can already dodge it, but if you don't have it at all, if you've thrown it out aggressively, that is his time to punish you. And you just really got to respect that. And it looks like Cordelia does just reset and, you know, come back to the lane with full resources.
Elysium starting to close the cold gap a bit, farming up wells so far. They've got a lot of resources. They've got a lot of waves to kind of clear up, and the action has slowed, but It will be a dragon in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. The grubs are spawning soon. We could see some fights break out, especially with Kuzu having such a lead right now. And there is no AD on the side of Ika right now. It's just attack speed. So he's basically doing negative damage to Kuzu at this point.
Yeah, it's, I mean, you know, the attack speed is nice. Getting that Q cooldown lower helps you weave in those Qs on the wave, farm up a little easier, dash around a little more, but certainly not going to be taking this Orin down anytime soon, as Angel's getting some free time with the turret, grabs that plating. This cannon probably be denied from the enemy team as well. No solution can kind of snipe it out. Yeah, the grubs are up and Queenie's hitting those. Cordelia, ooh.
Yeah, Cordelia taking the worst end of all these trades. I always struggle playing Fizz in the mid lane. I've never really got the fish troll pole, but when I see a good Fizz, it's always a treat. It is, unless I'm facing it, because it's a pain. It's such a pain to deal with. Void Grub's going to go over to the side of XSVR, so they're already getting those objective stacks going, and that will just make the push from Kuzu into Ika even more oppressive. Be able to burst through the stores. I don't know if I don't think he has Demolish. I just don't see him running that, but if he did, whoa, man, those turrets. Those turrets.
Yeah, I think Fizz is going to be the real side lane threat once he's kind of unlocked out of that mid lane. The Syndra is certainly not going to want to match him out there, but they could swap in the mid game, have the Yone go into the Fizz, because I think he can, you know, feel a little bit more comfortable in that 1v1, and have Syndra try to just, you know, farm stacks off of Orin and go even in the scaling matchup up there. This is a matchup that is hard for Syndra, but if you really know what you're doing, you can kind of just play for like poke and farm. And oh, Rutledge is getting engaged on by the Kazakhs.
Yeah, Rutledge will manage to get out just fine. It is hard to. Fizz is one of the hardest champions in the game to get. It's just too hard to get through the troll pole and his other abilities to dash around. Now everyone's jockeying for position around this dragon with a minute up. They're just trying to gain vision control. Kuzu and Ika juking at it. Kuzu with the health advantage, but he does not have a lot of mana, so got to be careful when if he tries to take another trade here. Is Queenie trying to lock up?
Oh, Arrow got the crab.
Did he?
Yeah,
oh,
Arrow just walked up and autoed it away from Queenie. You might didn't have the smite.
You might say he was catfishing there for that. Sorry, I like fish puns. The fish puns gotta make them when you got them. But yeah, so at least small victory, getting a neutral, getting that that scuttle for control around the dragon. 42 seconds till that is up. Billy and Arrow are down 14 CS in this bottom lane. Surprising, honestly. Like, I know they messed up that early play, but it is... Oh, hang on. We have the tidal wave.
Guster.
And we do have the ultimate coming out from Lucian. Here comes Guster looking for Angel, but Griffin with a beautiful stop right there. The ult coming through. Massive amount of damage, but they will trade 1 for 1.
Here comes Rutledge.
Yep, Rutledge looking. The fish is hunting. The super fish is here, and he's gonna grab not Dilly. He's actually looking for Arrow. Queenie gonna pick up Dilly there. Arrow probably not much longer for this world. There, you've got to watch out for the troll pull. It does not hit. It does reset turret aggro for a moment. So Rutledge will pick up that kill. 3 for 1 in favor of XSVR. Elysium will get some plating in the middle, but Kuzu is here, and here comes the train. He's gonna land it onto him. The stun's coming through. Griffin is here to help secure it as well. Kuzu looking to secure another kill, and he will grab it for himself. 8-2 now for XSVR. Queenie's on the dragon. Guster's in the area, but I can't imagine he wants to try to contest all of this just strength coming out of XSVR.
No, definitely not going to want to contest that. You know, it's tough being the Syndra in that part of the game where you know your opponent's roaming, but if you walk into them in the river, you're dead. So I do think, you know, initially it's kind of the right call for Cordelia to walk up and hit that turret there, but staying for the second plating that long, extremely greedy, gets punished. And then I have to wonder what was being said in the communications in the voice chat down in the bottom lane, because we saw Arrow and Dilly flashing in aggressively on the enemy bot lane, and even for like a second or two after, Guster Posey's still hitting a pink ward in the tri-brush. Like, they know you're there. You should just go for the play, I think, because it buys them enough time to make it back to the turret, and then Angel's able to turn things around with a bullet time onto 2, and it ends up being just a 3 for 1, I think, was the end all be all of that play.
And I want to give a huge shout out to Griffin, because if you watch that, Kha'Zix goes in, immediately gets on Angel, and as he comes out of invisibility, Griffin immediately twisted advances to him, locks him up, flashes out so he doesn't get killed, and gives Angel enough time to get the bullet time off over everyone and secure the trade kill and give time for Rutledge to get down there. So that is a huge play and a really good awareness of where this Kha'Zix is going to be, even though he is invisible. So big props there to Griffin.
Yeah, he had the Bramble smashing the Kha'Zix into turret as well there. Yeah, it's a Griffin, I think, not necessarily in the carry role, but has been very good in these playoffs, moving around the map a lot, doing a lot of protection for his AD carry, as we see the Shark from Rutledge go wide there. Uses the Rocket Belt to get the bone plating off of Syndra, and Ika just crashing a wave up in topside. I'm not going to look for any sort of dive onto Kuzu, because he might be low, but he is tanky.
And now Billy looking for Angel here. Oh, the Nature's Grasp going to come forward. Angel will go down, but there are so many members from XSVR showing up. Rutledge is going to pick up this kill for himself pretty easily. Queenie looking for Arrow, does miss the stun. Guster is here, but he's just kind of blustering, blowing hot air to keep him away. And now on the top side, Kuzu and Yika continue going at it. Yika doing much better here, but it's what you kind of expect having a carry kind of champion like Yone into the board, or at least early on. Still a little bit of struggle as the bottom turret does fall here in favor of XSVR, so they will secure the boot enhancement this time. Cordelia trying to get this mid turret, but Angel shows up ahead of time. Guster here to support his mid laner so she doesn't get ganked again. And Rutledge, Rutledge is hunting. He's fishing.
Could be a bait though.
The fish is here, and it's gonna go wide. But so does the Scatter of the Weak. Guster looking for Rutledge. There is one. He's gonna troll pull on out. Guster going forward though, looking for him. Queenie is here. He's trying to land the stun. It will not land it. Guster will manage to get the shutdown from the over-aggressive fish.
Looked like Rutledge was dodging everything there with the hop over the wall. And wait a minute.
Hang on, Griffin going forward. A huge bullet time allows Angel to pick up Dilly right there. Cordelia forced the flash. The Scatter Weak did stop him from getting any more damage out, but 1-for-1 overall over the last about 10 seconds of play. Mid 480 carry, but XSVR might be able to get more here as Yika and Kuzu getting going at it. Kuzu doing so much damage onto this Yone. He's not going to charge under the turret, but Yika forced to dash on out of there. And if he stays around,
don't do it, Yika.
Demolished. No, Yika, no! No, Yika, not like this. Oh, he's going to step back to reality. Oh, but he's still alive for a moment, but it doesn't matter. There goes the gravity. Kuzu picks up the kill on another 1v1, and Herald will go down for XSVR. Again, play from Elysium, finding Rutledge, get a pick. XSVR turns it and takes a mile again with everything.
And that's just the reset timing there. I mean, Kuzu had come back with, I believe that's the finished Sunfire now, alongside the Bramble Vest. And I don't think Yika had backed in quite a while. Still has that teleport up, kind of being a telltale sign. So it's just item diff there, as Kuzu gets a big 1v1 kill once again. Billy and Arrow finding some success despite the early deaths.
Kuzu might have finally found his match. If he can't take Yika, Guster, how about with Guster as well? Guster gonna get the shutdown. Really the only one finding much this game on the Kha'Zix. It's a strong pick, but again, it is an assassin. You need things to set it up, and if the rest of your team is struggling, you're probably not gonna find it, as the Herald is just casually dropped mid. This is the sign for XSVR. They're gonna start stacking these Infernal Dragons. This could be Infernal Soul this game for them if they get it. And the turret will fall. Little sweaty there for Herald. He almost didn't have enough health to do the charge, but he does manage it. Ika gonna get this top turret for himself, but the dragon will go over to XSVR. So, gold lead once this turret fall. Oh, it's not gonna fall. Ika didn't have enough damage. All that attack speed is not enough AD.
Yeah, it's about a 3,000 gold lead for XSVR now. They're up 1 dragon. They've got the feats and an Ornn that is going to give them so much additional power going later into the game. Elysium does pick up that turret and you know some good gold on Yone. I really think they would have liked that earlier kill to go onto Yika as well, just so we can side lane into this Ornn a little more easily. But for now, it is Guster Posey kind of the bright spot for this team, but is also down 20 CS in the jungle to Queenie, who has just been power farming on this brand and still has just as much kill participation. Oh,
Guster forced to ult to get out of there. Granted, it is ult with a very low cooldown, and it's not like an end-all be-all kind of ultimate for Kha'Zix, but not having that still shows the fear that the Elysium members have of the members of XSVR, especially Rutledge. Rutledge can 1v1 probably anybody here. I know Kha'Zix caught him there, but without anyone else maybe able to find him is Yika. Speaking of getting caught, Yika being caught out there. Look at all that damage takes from the support. The Nature's Grass coming on through. He is trying to get onto Angel. Angel forced to flash on away to get on out of there. Dilly was looking for it with the culling, but does not find anything. Rutledge is here. The fish is hunting, but he comes up hook, line, and sinker. And the members of XSVR and Elysium back on off. There is no turret here. Rutledge could try to force something, so can Griffin. And everyone just kind of backs off. Everyone's just like, let's just take a chill pill. No need to die here.
and it's yeah, no one dies at the end of all of that, but Cordelia might be in trouble now. Kuzu is showing up in the top lane.
Yeah, does get scattered the weak away, so we'll be stunned out. And as such, should be fine for Cordelia. But members of XSVR looking for Elysium here. Bullet time to push Dilly and Arrow off the turret. They're trying to get a lot of pressure on this. They want this inner turret gone. Yika is here. He does not have ultimate. He used that in the last fight to get onto Angel. But could still try to dash to somebody. Dilly now going forward. Griffin and Rutledge on the side here. 4v4 in the mid lane. Cordelia in a position that could rotate down and help, but will probably lose the turret if they do so. That we did see earlier when Yika died that Kuzu does have Demolish, so you give that Ornn a second on the turret, he will probably blow it up. And with that, I feel like this isn't the person you put in the side lane into Ornn, but I mean, it's working so far. Got him to half health.
It's yeah, if Syndra goes for a build like this with a Blackfire, she can actually deal decent damage to Ornn, especially because you see he's built all of that armor, no magic resist at all at this point, and she can play at range and just farm stacks off of him if she's hitting a W plus a Q or a Q plus an E. You know, he's not very long range. If he wants to shove the wave into her, he's going to be tanking that damage. So I like this rotation. I think they'd much rather have the Yone into the Fizz, who has a bit more mobility to escape. But really, there's no one that likes being up against Fizz here. I think that champion just deals so much damage, and everyone on Elysium is pretty squishy. As that top turret does go down, and there might be a dive followed up onto Cordelia here.
Yeah, usually looking for him. The train comes. Choo-choo, everybody. Oh, well, looks like he decided to pull the lever to go onto the other track. We know now the answer to that philosophical question.
Rutledge just spending a lot of time in the top side of the jungle there. Ooh.
Nature's Grasp is going to land onto Nami. Oh, Guster blocking the fish, but the bullet time from over the top could pick up a lot there. They're going to trade Rutledge's life for Guster and maybe a little bit more. Angel will be the one to fall there. XSVR, for once, may have gotten a little too excited here. Griffin soon to fall. 3 for 1 in favor of Elysium. And just a little excited. I think they thought that fish hit
Otacon, I think.
Yeah, I think that will be Otacon for them. Though Kuzu and Queenie are coming down. There are some low members of Elysium here. They do not have their jungler. So Queenie could smite, try a life for an Otacon.
There's a Syndra in the bush. They're going to try to zone this Brand off. But if Brand can get a good R onto the side of Elysium, with all the damage that this Otacon deals, that could hurt a lot. They need to make sure Brand cannot steal, and they're actually going to back off.
Yeah, it's just 2 members of XSVR against 5, but for right now, but they still don't want to try to contest.
And they haven't based, so even though they won that last fight, they're going to be down in items here. Now Dragon and Otacon are both alive. If they need to play their cards right to make sure they don't give over both of these objectives, because that could completely close this game out.
going to be the Dragon as the priority for XSVR. They're keeping a lot of both the neutrals just kind of close together. Guster on the side here, looking for maybe an opportunity to steal it. He does have
vision.
He knows they're on it, but not anywhere in range. So XSVR gets their third break of the game. Uzu going to get that upgrade onto somebody while we are waiting. I'm not sure who that one is. I'm guessing Angel or Rutledge, but they're burning through this Atacan. They are surrounded, though. They have no idea Guster is behind them, but the fight is bringing out the bullet time over the top onto Dilly. And now here comes Guster, but it is Griffin who finds him instead. Doesn't see the vision word there. Dilly with the culling will not find anybody. Guster on the run. Rutledge on the side there, going to pick up Yeehaw, and Guster is, oh, it's not even going to be Guster. It's going to be Dilly, the one that Rutledge looks for first. Oh, he does get the triple kill, but he will trade his life to Cordelia in the process. And now Queenie going to get stunned up by Cordelia. Oh, a shutdown for Cordelia, but it will cost them Guster's life. And now Cordelia, oh, the flash ram is forcing the flash out of Cordelia, and it'll not be long for this world. And Nami's respawn, so just delayed ace for XSVR, and they're gonna finally try to get this Atacan after everyone has started it so many times.
Big triple kill for Rutledge in that fight, and really great coordination by XSV. As soon as Guster shows his head, they turn around onto him, but it is going to be Yika trying to show up and do something about this Otacon.
Looking for something, Griffin buying the space, but Angel doing so much damage, and he is just gonna bounce house with Kuzu through Yika, and that's gonna be the Thornbound Atacan going over to XSVR.
That is just unfortunate. I think Yika used the Soul Unbound right as Kuzu used the Syrian charge into that wall. If the timing was just a tiny bit different, I think he could have gotten that knockup off, and that might have completely turned the tide and maybe been able to, well, you know what? Angel has barrier and flash. Maybe Angel would have just used one of those and live, but would have been much closer looking. Instead, Yika just teleports in to his death, not able to get the ultimate off, and yeah, that's both of those major neutral objectives claimed now by XSV. Baron is also going to be spawning in 30 seconds. That is going to be another point of pressure. Now, they don't have no, they've got Brand. Brand gives them a pretty fast take. But I think Elysium is still in a position where they could stop this if XSV, doesn't have the vision set up. But right now, they do have a flank position.
They do. Griffin gonna get poked up, though. They know Rutledge is there, so they know, we should not be. This is not a good spot to be. Cordelia looking for the scatter of the weak to see if he can find Griffin, but not gonna find anything right there. Angel now on his own, looking for Arrow. Gonna get bubbled up, but no one there to follow up. Meanwhile, on the side here, Rutledge dealing with Guster and Yika. Yika will manage to pick up the kill onto Rutledge, but it will cost him his life, and it might also cost the life of his jungler. Guster will be a bust there. As Kuzu now taking the damage. Bullet time from over the top. Arrow gonna use the tidal wave to stop him. Arrow forced to flash as well.
And with Summoner Heal.
Yeah, 2 for 1 in favor of XSVR. There is a jungler on their side, so that is the call. Let's go for the Baron.
There's still 3 alive on the side of Elysium who could try to stop this. Cordelia, I think, has been really instrumental in these fights. Did end up getting caught out at the end of the last one, but has the option to poke with the stun, has the unleashed power available to burst someone still, but Kuzu's just buying all the space they need to get this done.
Here comes the call of the Forge God. He's gonna just barely miss Dilly, but it doesn't matter. Rutledge teleports in from behind, cutting off their escape, going to do everything he can. The scatter of the weak will land, but Arrow gets caught. The fish lands on to Lucian, and Angel will pick up that kill. Now Cordelia trying to flee, trying to get out of this, trying to buy some space so his team can continue on, and he will just barely make it out. The only hope right now with that burst, the only damage that Kuzu isn't really immune to, but he's so low he's gonna have to back to the base, and that's the call to break the inhibitor turret, the call to break the inhibitor. And they might try to end here. They might just back. There is about 30 seconds.
They're feeling it.
Oh, yeah, they are feeling it, Mr. Krabs. They are looking for this win right here. They're going to break one Nexus turret, but they're going to call it off there. Yika looking, and he's just going to come up short on Queenie. 19 seconds until the dragon spawns. They're not going to back up. Instead, they're going to go for this inner bot turret, but be staying too long. Remember, we have seen both these teams stay a little bit longer than they should at times. Angel, though, healing up quite a bit. And that will be the inner turret falling. All the ultimates are up.
Arrow first in line on the flank here.
Yeah, the fish is looking to bait, but XSVR ain't fighting. Going backwards, though. Call the Forge God coming out. It is going to land on to Arrow, and he will fall. Now, everyone diving on in. Angel will be the first to fall. Queenie falling as well. Yika may have actually found it first team, but Rutledge will take him down. Double kill going over to the XSVR mid laner, and now Elysium scattering for the hills. They may have taken Angel, they may have taken Queenie, but they're still Kuzu, they're still Rutledge, and they're still Griffin, and there's still so many neutrals for them to pick up. On the side of XSVR, they're going to grab that inhibitor turret, they're going to grab that bottom inhibitor, and they're going to back up this time. You got to think they want that dragon with 2 inhibitors down. They're just going to back off and reset for it.
I mean, usually when you have Baron, you kind of want to play in the lanes. You know, you can sometimes like wait until you've used the pressure from the Baron to get turrets and things before turning your attention to the dragon. But I've got to imagine when Soul is up, that has to be the call, because I think they had all the time they needed to just nuke that objective when it spawned, ignore the turret, and clinch themselves an even easier finish to the game. Now, Elysium does catch them kind of overstaying for that turret. It's a 2 for 2 when they are down so much, and I think that's overall like kind of a positive for them, but they still lose the bottom inhibitor, and it looks like they might lose Cordelia now as Fizz is going in.
Yeah, and
it's a flash on the bot side.
They can't even hurt him really that much. And Griffin coming right side, called the Forge God, gonna miss because the tidal wave does knock him up. Train loses to water, but XSVR's got Infernal now to kind of evaporate all of that, and Rutledge finds Gilly with the engage. Not sure what he got, probably the ultimate base. No, the ultimate cooldown is lower. So double kill going to Rutledge here as he picks up Arrow. We're looking for more. Cordelia trying to get out. Kuzu gonna pick that up. Guster about to fall. Yika, the last man standing, but he will pop. And an ace for XSVR. A clean 3-0, and the Conqueror Summer title going the way of XSVR.
It's a clean sweep from XSV off the back of, you know, creative picks. We're seeing the brand jungle recently buffed, the Fizz. Hadn't seen that before, but it felt like Elysium did not have an answer for that pick. It was domination in every lane at every turn throughout the whole series for XSV, really. And it, you know, it's hard to see what Elysium could have done differently, because there's not a quick fix when it is that brutal across the board.
Yeah, and a couple hiccups here and there, just literal hiccups. It felt like a moment of lapse followed by just immediate turnaround anytime XSVR got put on the back foot. And they have proven themselves the top of the Conquerors League. They beat the #1 in their group in the semifinals to get here. They beat their sister team who was in second to make it here and win this. They have fought their way tooth and nail through these playoffs to get to this point, and they are your Conquerors champions for the summer. Congratulations to them. I gotta ask you, Potatoes, who would you say is the MVP of this series?
I think you could give it to so many people here. It's really tough to say, frankly, from my perspective. But my eyes first and foremost go to Rutledge. Standout performance on an unconventional pick in the last game. You know, finding huge walls in game number 2, and just a really consistent performer. I think. Yeah, through and through. But you could make an argument for any player. You know, Queenie had a lot of presence on the map. Kuzu was dominating the 1v1 just as hard. And the bot lane, no slouches either from the side of XSV Rush. It really feels like, you know, they could have had MVP caliber players in every single role in this series and across all the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree. They have just all performed well. This was a complete team effort. Everyone was individually dominating, but as a team, they were solid. And that's something you don't always see. Teams can have strong individual players and might have a weak link, you know, that they have to play around. But every member on XSVR, from Griffin to Angel to Rutledge to Queenie to Kuzu, all of them just were firing on all cylinders this playoff, this series, and just in this game. Even we saw the Griffin with that immaculate play in the bottom side of support. Yeah, it's just absolutely phenomenal from them. Congratulations to them. Congratulations on Elysium on making it this far. Don't worry, there's always next season. And, top 2, that's always impressive to me.
Yeah, it's got us team to come so far and lose out in the end, but they proved that they deserve to be here nonetheless. Clearing their way through most of those Group A teams. And eventually it is of course XSV Rush who makes the last stand for Group A, and proves that to be perhaps the strongest of all the groups. But and it really feels like XSV is a team that was built to win. I mean, when you look at this Conqueror sheet, it's there's a lot of blue and green mixed together, but XSV, that's a full team diamonds. They are diamond at some point or another, maybe not right now, but they are clearly a roster that was born to win from and trained very well. I have to say, their team play impressed me just as much as their individual play. It felt like they knew for the most part when to back off of plays, when to make movements around the map. The rotations were phenomenal from them. So I think every win they got these playoffs was firmly earned by them, and not just mistakes by the enemy. Of course they capitalized well, but they created those opportunities for themselves.
Yeah, and we've got to give him a big congratulations for that. We've got an interview coming up with our winners very shortly, right after this short break. Before we go, though, Potatoes, do you have anything else you want to say?
Not much more for me. I think I've said about as much as I can. I mean, this is the third XSV Rush series I've gotten to cast this playoffs, and I've seen them consistently pull out these big wins. I think this is absolutely deserved from them. I'm proud of what I've seen from them. They've gotten better and better as these playoffs have gone on.
Yeah, and I'm going to look into it personally, because I really think this may have been the fastest grand final we've ever had in Titan. Don't quote me on that. I don't know, but those were some pretty fast games. So we'll have to find out. I'll find that out myself. Maybe I'll post it in the general chat. But again, we'll be right back after this break with an interview with our winners from XSVR. So don't go anywhere. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. We're here with our winning jungler from XSVR, Queenie, to do a post-series interview. Just wanted to start off with congratulations again, Queenie, on your win. How does it feel to be the to be for XSVR to be the Conqueror's champions?
Thank you. It feels amazing, and it looks like Rutledge wants to join. I think it would be so cute if we did this together.
Yeah, bring
Yeah,
him
get
in.
him in here. Yeah.
We're gonna in just a moment. We're getting him all in there with production. Oh, that'll be,
Mhm.
but
Well,
yeah. So while we're waiting for him, tell me a little bit about how you prepared for this series. Like, what was your game plan this week going on into this? Like, how was like your preparation as a jungler?
Well, I knew that all of my junglers were getting buffed this patch, so I did expect to play those. Unfortunately, we did end up sending the Zyra support, but Griff was like amazing at it. Uh, I would say there wasn't too much prep going into it. We kind of just expected to win.
Well,
it feels like maybe not everyone, at least for a lot of these playoffs, expected you to win. I mean, we saw the MVP voting. A lot of players in this finals notably absent, and I think in some of the previous content pieces, you may have been also expected to lose. Does it feel like you kind of broke people's expectations throughout this playoffs run?
No, I think everybody knew we were going to win. They might have said we weren't, but I think that's just like they didn't want us to win. But I will say that like Solar in semifinals, like having to use a mid ESUP, that really should have been the real finals, is us versus Solar. Wait, is that too toxic?
no, I think it's a fair. Sometimes you feel like the final comes in a little bit ahead of time.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
that was a really good team. I think that would have been the true finals with their actual mid laner, and that would have been great to see. But we once we beat that team, we knew like it was over.
yeah, and you had to go through the number 1 and number 2 seed from your group in the semi and the final to make it here. So it must feel very redeeming to, be like, oh, we got third in the regular season and then we smashed them to prove ourselves to make it all the way.
Oh yeah, just a little bit of roster tweaking.
And Rutledge, how are you doing? Congrats. That was a fantastic Fizz game from you.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, doing fine. Just collecting the ring. You know what I mean? Sims, they just let me play. No, but I mean, our team did great. I mean, I knew. I told Dilly before the series in our FPL chat. I told him that I was bringing the belt today. So I knew we, I knew we were I knew we would be the super favorite. I mean, we out elo them. We out have. I mean, they have more experience together than we do, but I just we felt really really confident coming in that we just matched up across the board pretty well. I mean, Prophet and his content I think rang pretty true. I don't think he gave my bot lane enough credit, but yeah, I don't know. I think it was going to be really hard. I think the bracket was really weird how it broke out. I think all the bot side teams were like the teams I would not want to go against. The way it shuffled or the way it ended up working out with the seeding, it loaded the bot side of the bracket. I think a lot of the teams that we played through to get here would have made it all the way to the finals as well from the boss side. So it's a little unfortunate for them, but yeah, it feels good to win and handily at that.
It was a very handily win. Like I said, I still need to check the stats, but this might be one of the fastest, if not the fastest, series win we've ever had in a grand final in Titans. So that's if that rings true. Either way, it's a very fast series. It's always something you like to see. To have a very convincing win. There's no doubt you were the strongest team coming into this. I wanted to talk to you guys about like your draft, because I noticed you guys had you always had a solid game plan, and you really knew even when your opponents pulled out something kind of crazy, you had something lined up to counter it. You knew how to play these kind of more obscure matchups that we saw a couple times. It's not often you see Yone into Ornn, or even the Kha'Zix coming out. So how did when you saw when you saw this Kha'Zix coming out, what were you thinking about that?
We didn't prepare for the Kha'Zix. I think they were just throwing the kitchen sink at this last draft, which I think ended up being pretty bad just because they had no front line at all. So I don't know who's going to tank the Maokai ulti or even just like an Ornhorn. Like I don't know who's going to step up for them to be able to let their team have success. Like they kind of just have to gig out play, and I don't think that was ever going to happen. So I mean, yeah, the Kha'Zix was interesting. It seems like a decent answer into the brand. He wasn't able to invade or punish at all on the brand though. So like once he's not getting his advantage early, I think ended up just being bad. But yeah, I think they were just cooking a little too hard in that last draft. But I mean, I think they matched up as far as champ pools wise, even pretty poorly. They didn't have like typically people that play best of me are like assassin heavy players because I play a lot of casters and stuff like that. And they like that's not. I just think across the board that kind of rang true too. They didn't have players that really punished any of our pools. So drafting wasn't that hard coming into planning. We just picked up some like bands. We didn't really even have any bands we really needed. We felt like we just threw out some that would be annoying, and we're trying to force them to either ban Ziggs or give it to me whenever we go to blue side. But they didn't want me to have any of my favorite champs. So
Nice. And speaking of champs, especially looking into this patch, I know earlier, Queenie, you said that a lot of your champions were getting buffed. This patch had some larger changes overall, especially for the meta. Trundle got nerfed. We saw Poke Varus get taken out. We saw that even in the series with that first game with them going on hit Varus. So how are you feeling looking at the patch heading into today? You only had a couple hours to prepare.
Well, I mean, if it stays like this for next split, everybody's in trouble because these are my champions. The champions that are good into it got nerfed and they got buffed. Like, it's just over for everybody else. This is going to be great.
Nice. And now I do have a question, kind of like a little opinion, but based on, I don't know if you guys all talked about it as a team, but who on your team would you say is the MVP for this series for you guys?
for this series, it's definitely not our jungle. That's for
Thank
sure.
you.
My jungle miss like she didn't pick up Rift.
Oh my gosh.
She missed like 8 Qs on brand that were like point blank on Nami with no dash. So definitely not jungle. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Top solo killed a bunch. I think Angel played really well, and Griff was on like cocaine or something tonight. That man was losing his mind in comms, but he was ready and pulling the trigger. I don't know. It is tough when the games are like that one-sided. There's not like a contention point across the board for the most part. I mean, man. I mean, Angel was a consistent source of damage, and he, for the most part, didn't get caught and did his job. So I lean that way. But honestly, you could give it to any 3 of them, I think. I think they all 3 did a great job.
Okay. And I guess extending on that, who would you say for the playoffs as a whole for your team, or even the season, who would you say is your team MVP?
I'd probably just say Angel, because Angel and me are the only 2 that have played, I think, every series this season. Mostly because like our top laner had a couple, like he had to be gone a couple weeks, so we had a couple subs come in to play for him. Queenie and Rexcat alternated a bit throughout the season, so we were trying to find our identity in the jungle. And then Griffin came in late, so I can't give it to Griffin. Now I will say Griffin helped us fix a lot of the issues we had by being a stronger voice in comms when I'm not around. So he was making a lot of go calls, finding proactive plays, getting really good control of vision. Like he definitely enabled us to be a better version of ourselves. So, but because he wasn't here all season, I'll go with Angel just because he's been with me for 2 splits in slash all as well as here. He's been a pretty reliable player for me. I think he's only entered me a couple times, so I'll give it to Angel probably.
That's fair. Queenie, do you any thoughts from you on who you would give for your team MVP?
Honestly, the whole team, I think, has been gapping the entire enemy team nearly every series. So I don't think an MVP of the team is accurate. I really think it's been everybody.
I like that. I like that a lot. That's a really nice way to answer that. Potatoes, do you have any other questions?
Yeah, I mean, kind of to go off of that point. I felt like, watching your run through playoffs, because I got to cast 3 of those series, I felt like your coordination was kind of on another level from a lot of other teams. And I was kind of curious if there's, anything you attribute that to. Is that coaching? Is that just how your team gels together? Is there what was really driving that proactivity around the map?
I think so. We actually really struggled with that prior to like I said, the Griffin edition. We just didn't have that. Wasn't a strength of a lot of people on the team. I consider it like a relative strength of mine, but it wasn't enough. Like where we didn't. If I wasn't in a play, we weren't being proactive or looking for setup outside of that. And I think jungle or support ideally has that kind of macro calling as well in the game because they can just move the game because that's what they can focus on. So I mean, I think it's more of that. We just had 2 strong voices, and our team meshed really well as far as like, okay, the strengths that they may not have strength in calling stuff, but they have strengths in following up, being prepared, being responsive, attentive, all those great traits that you need to like follow calls quickly and effectively, especially in team fights. So I think that it's just the way we mesh together, plus having a couple people with strengths of navigating situations and such like that.
Cool.
And now, with this season over, I got to ask you, will we see this XSVR roster return for next season? Well, and will you even be in Conqueror? Will it be another league?
Yeah, that's not really up for me to decide, unfortunately. I told these guys that I have no idea what the future holds, was the words I gave as far as what our abilities will be to play together again. So, yeah, I think we're kind of at the whim of obviously tournament makers and organizers. Obviously, Sims, I'm going to pay him off, and he's going to let me do it. So, but no, I mean, I don't know. I mean, we'd love to. I think we all enjoyed playing together. We didn't have any issues. Obviously, when you're winning, it's easier to have no issues. But yeah, so we'll see. We'd love to though.
Yeah,
Aw.
we'd love to see you guys back. You guys are great. And we've really appreciated having you. Yeah.
Except jungle. Jungle's open, by the way. So
Oh my gosh, that's a lie.
Oh, that's great. I love it. I love the fun you guys are having. Well, that is the end of my questions that I have. Potatoes, do you have any more questions?
Yeah, I guess. I what's like how is it being part of the XSV organization as a whole? I think I got to edit a video with the org owner a while back. I remember, but that's been a while ago. So I'm kind of curious to hear from the players. What's it like being a part of the org? Do you get to scrim a lot of the other teams? What's that kind of environment like?
we did scrim another XSV team at least maybe 2 times throughout the split, but for sure at least once. That scrim actually did not go well as far as for the other team. I think we actually made their ADC quit the team. So, and that was before we were even playing that well, to be honest with you. I will say no hate to the rest of the XSV rosters, but guys, we dragged you through the finish line here. None of the rest of the rosters made the playoffs. I think we had like 3 teams, maybe even 4, I think it was 3 in Titan Conqueror. So don't worry, Shane, we got you. We'll get you your entries back, maybe. But no, I played with Shane on the team before, and Shane started up XSV and asked me if I wanted to make a team for and play with it and play under that brand, their brand or organization, and he's been great. He's given me exactly what I wanted, lets me operate, and just gives me any help I ask for, and helps me fill players if I needed them. Like how he helps fill the team because I've had a lot going on in my life. So yeah, they've been great. I think they try to help as much as they can. They'll give you as much coaching or whatever. Like he'll look to give you what you need or what you want. And my teams are typically a bit more independent, so doesn't usually need a whole lot. But yeah, he's doing his best for his teams. That's why I mean he's also put a ton of teams out there. I mean I think they've had like 3 teams or 2 teams at least in like every league so far. So he's trying to do some big things.
Nice, yeah, and
Making moves.
Yeah, already got a win, got a chip in it already, so it's definitely paying off. I actually did come up with one more question for you guys, and that is looking into the things that weren't available into the playoffs here. We already know Kled got his light rework, but I want to get your thoughts on Yunara. She will be available next season. How are you feeling about this champion?
I mean, she seems pretty not basic, but like straightforward. And and her numbers seem fine. Like she does seem decently strong when I play against her. I don't know what her like win rates and stuff are like, but I mean, she seems, I don't know, most ADCs I talk to seem to like her too. So I have a relatively positive opinion on her, but I don't see her that much. She doesn't seem like she was built like and broken as far as like how a lot of new champs come out. And her kit's pretty simplistic. She's definitely more just pure DPS and not really any utility. But I don't know. I like the champ's design. I mean, she seems good.
Awesome. Well, the last thing I have for you guys is there anything you want to say to the Titan community and all your fans watching?
Green Six, you want to say something first?
I would love to say something. I just wanted to say that I have been waiting to play with Rutledge for years, and I've been telling him for years that if we played together, we would be unstoppable, and this is the start of that.
It's also the end of it. Again, jungle tryouts are open. Please reach out to me via DMs. Tired of carrying around the dead weight, so feel free to reach out to me. But no, I mean, thanks for playing us, guys, and getting beat. I guess I don't know. I know this. I know there's a bunch of calls for me to get yeeted, which is unfortunate. I mean, they're just scared to play me again. I guess I'm an old man that can't beat an old man with decrepit hands. I'm just getting worse every year. So I mean, that's up to you guys. I mean, you guys are that scared. I mean, that's fine. But as long as Sims will have me, I'll be here.
I like it. I like it. The challenge, putting out a challenge for your opponents. Well, that does it from us. Thank you so much again for joining us, you two. And congratulations one more time on becoming the Conqueror's champions. That does it from us today, everyone. Thank you so much. We will see you in the next league. So catch you around.
Thank you.